It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. We got special guest Bunny Bennett and, well, I guess we're all guests today. Oh, the Alex. Bennettarium. It's the Bennettarium. And it's starting right now. Special guests. The podcast is partly named after me. Thank you very much. I was going to say everyone's name, but then I said special guest, so I kind of screwed it up. So now you're the guest. It's great to be here on your guys' podcast. Now, you never know. You don't know how this one goes, but usually, no. So the first thing we do on this podcast is ask the lunch machine question. Hey, Chelsea, can you, since now that you're on the one that can get up, can you put the guitar somewhere?
Lunch machine. Funny you say that, because someone has already asked if we'll ask Alex that question.
I'm sure we'll get to that. I'm sure we'll get to the lunch machine. But first, we have a very special continuation of our long overdue... Wait, you guys haven't continued it, have you? No. Okay. Our long overdue role-playing session with the robots of Steam Powered Giraffe and Walter Worker Chelsea.
Last time on Steam Powered Giraffe, the role-playing adventure. I don't know what we called it last time. The Spine and Rabbit traveled to an alternate dimension where the world was destroyed by the Hypexion moonworms. With their fearless Walter Worker companion, Chelsea, River Song.
What?
They had a lot of flub-ups. And
I think we killed like a few.
Yeah, they killed a few. Yeah, and then
we boarded a spacecraft. Which
the hamsters.
I don't
came
remember
down.
if I'm unconscious or not because I was knocked unconscious a lot.
I think you woke up last
time. One of you slapped me.
Yeah. So where are we traveling to Hypexion or something? No, I don't know. I guess we need to figure that out.
Okay. We had just boarded a ship, I believe.
Boy, there's sure a lot of hamsters here on this here spacecraft, the Spine.
Obviously, Rabbit. We went over this last time. These are
I just felt the need to recap for some reason.
These are our friends. We're being enlisted into the hamster squadron of space to whatever I said last time.
But I don't even know their names. We should be all friendly-like since we're going to be fighting moonworms together.
All right, I guess we have time as we're traveling to the moon to do... Wait. We were traveling to the mothership, or we were going to the moon base?
Isn't it this one and the same?
Well, Zero and Hatchworth were going on the bigger, better mission, and we were doing the side mission.
I think we're going on the...
Which one was the...
We're the B team.
I think there's like a space dino that we need to clear out of worms. Something like that. On an asteroid belt?
That doesn't sound right, but I'm sure no one remembers from the last episode. All right. Oh, wait. Well, let's introduce ourselves to
Here's
these.
a nice black and white hamster. What's your name, Mr. Hamster?
My name is Hampy. I am the first cadet of this Hampy squadron.
Wait, the squadron is named after you. You must be really important.
Wow.
I was the only one left after that diner incident. That's why I have to go back.
Gosh.
That's what we're doing. That's not as cool as blowing up a mothership / moon base, but I suppose we all need to be heroes in our own small way.
Is the diner on the moon base? Is that what's happening?
No one remembers, Chelsea.
Okay. Just trying to get my facts straight.
I want to roll for what is it? In knowledge, intelligence? What is?
You want to know
knowledge? How do I? Can I see if I remember?
I'll just tell you now. I don't remember.
I want to roll anyway.
Wait, what if the chat knows? What if the chat knows?
Oh, yeah. Let me pull out.
Wait, I want to see if I can remember
pull out
what
my
the
scanner
chat's gonna
here.
say.
No, you don't remember.
Maybe Hampy does.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure Happy does because he's enlisted in the squadron.
Help us out, chat.
Anyone
Does anyone remember what we were doing?
what we were doing?
Okay. I'm just going to make it up then.
And send.
Sure is nice out here in space.
Chowder?
How do you know? There's no windows on this vessel. That's the first rule of improv. It's deny, deny, deny.
Well, you see, it's fine. That's not true because I have X-ray vision.
Really? You shouldn't be pointing that over at any organic beings. That could give them the cancer.
Well, obviously, the hamsters aren't organic beings. They're nothing but fluff and cuddles.
I suppose none of that would be organic in your mind?
That's right. Let's see if Campy remembers yet.
Wait, these are giant space hamsters.
They're like
giant.
So
they're
how
human.
big are they?
They're probably like
Human
7 feet
size?
tall.
Yeah, how big
7
am I?
feet?
I don't know.
Jeez.
In this dimension.
I imagine like 5 foot,
I'm
but
like-
7 feet. Okay.
Okay, well this
I have
one
to
is
break
7
character
feet.
because I'm like, how tall are you?
You're 7 feet when you're floating on your jetpack.
Does
Oh.
Hampy remember? Does he remember the?
Does anyone in the
Does
chat
anyone
remember?
remember what
Um,
Hampy?
Met the hamsters after little kitty worms with telepathically
Yeah, I
controlled
remember that.
AK-47.
We don't.
They
we-
don't
the,
remember.
the details of
we
where
got
we're
on
going.
the ship and I think we were hungry. I remember eating hamster pellets. That's all. That's the only thing I remember.
Oh, so you got North
But
food
no,
stores.
okay, so no one remembers what the actual mission was anymore. Okay, well,
Okay,
anyways,
we're going to a
going
diner,
to
on an asteroid belt.
All right.
And we got to kill the moonworms there.
Wait,
Yeah.
the,
And
get
the,
some
the
roast beef
general
sandwiches.
the general hamster or the captain of the ship. I guess you're not the captain of the ship.
What are you,
I'm just a
Hampy?
cadet.
Okay,
Hampy.
cadet.
But,
Oh.
I was the last one to survive.
but your name is Hampy,
Mhm.
and the squad is named Hampy's
Mhm.
Squad. Or
It was just a coincidence.
Rabbit. That's like if human. If
that wasn't rabbit talking, okay? This is not my rabbit voice.
I don't know. They all sound the same to me. That's like if that's wait. I don't remember who I am anymore.
Okay. It ended with the spine saying, "Will our heroes be able to defeat the Hypexion mothership with the help of our newfound allies, the hamsters?"
All right. No.
Rabbit needed to repair the petrol tubes, and Chelsea had a bump on her head.
Nope, we got downgraded in our mission. They sent some better people on that because it took us like 5 weeks.
The captain hamster. He's like, a new change of plans, everyone. We're going to not the mothership. We're going to a diner to clear it out. Because I really like that diner.
All right, maybe they'll have a jukebox and we can listen to some space hamster tunes.
They blew it up.
Oh gosh, just the jukebox?
Yep, they left everything else intact. I mean, they killed tons of your family.
But more importantly,
Happy.
the jukebox. They killed rock and roll. Now that's an affront to common decency.
Oh, look, we're here. All right, everyone. Get out.
I gotta put my spacesuit on.
Wait, I gotta repair those petrol tubes or something. I'm gonna do that real quick. Do.
Okay, we'll see if you. How
Need
much
a
time
nice
you want?
pack
How much
for
time you
my
want to take
head.
to do that?
I'm gonna spend 30 minutes.
Yeah, you get. They might work once.
What are petrol tubes? Is that in me? No, or is that in the ship?
You have flamethrower.
Oh, did it break or
Oh.
something?
Yeah, the tubing that would transport
yeah.
the gasoline
Didn't
or
you like
whatever
roll
whatever
a critical
or
fail
Oh,
and
you're
it
right.
exploded onto yourself?
or whatever you're using for flame fuel.
All right, this duct tape will. Oh, sorry, hamster tape will hold nicely for now.
So are we leaving the ship or?
Yes.
Okay. So all right. So I'm the lowest ranked cadet. So I guess I'll go in first. I roll to see if I encounter any problems when I enter the diner.
All right. Looks like Hampy's got this one.
Go, Hampy!
All right. I'm headed out. On me. Let's go. Do I roll for if I encounter anything? Or?
You yeah. See if you can open the door.
All right. Well, let's roll for that. All right. I attempt to open the door.
Yes, you're very familiar with the spaceship, and you know how to press the button to open the door.
All right. I remember this from space camp, which is all camps in space.
Gee, I hope so.
Does anyone else have any preparations?
I think I lost my wrench. Do I have any other weapons? Do I still have my blaster? I had a blaster last time. I don't know.
So the spaceship's landed outside of the diner.
Are we
that's
on the
an
moon?
asteroid.
Do I need this spacesuit?
I'm gonna.
Are you in the spacesuit?
Space
I'm in
diner.
the spacesuit right now.
Does the diner have an artificial gravity and or oxygen?
That's an excellent question, Cadet Rabbit.
That wasn't my rat voice. That wasn't my rat voice.
When did she get to be cadet?
We need to get like hats to put on, or
Talking sticks.
Talking sticks.
I'm gonna prepare my saw blade arm.
The gravity is quite Earth normal on there. However, there's no oxygen anywhere because all the windows were blown out.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep my helmet on.
Now, do the space hamsters need? Do they need helmets?
We're already wearing stuff.
Okay.
They have
Space
space
hamsters.
skills.
Yes. Okay. So
I
now
didn't
that,
know if that's just what hamsters look like.
so now that we know that everyone's not going to die when we open the door.
Yeah, I've got my plasma gun.
The door opens. All right, everyone. I'm trying to do like Admiral Akbar.
That's good. It's
Go and
good.
do it. His voice changes as he did it.
All right.
And don't forget to take all your weapons.
Okay.
Okay,
So what do you have?
I have a plasma gun, and is it empty inside? Do I?
Is that one that you
have
took
to-
with you, or did you find it on the ship?
No, I had a plasma gun from the beginning.
Really?
I don't remember what happened to it.
Yeah,
though.
you had a plasma
I used
gun.
it, but I think it like didn't work or something because I just kept like
I
getting
don't-
knocked
I
out.
I remember.
I
Yeah,
did not
you
go
tried to
over-
use it or
I
something.
tried to use it, but it didn't work. But
How
I
about-
still have it.
How about you take one of their plasma rifles?
Okay.
Let's call it a laser rifle. That
What?
sounds
There's
more
dead
spacey.
bodies on the ground?
Plasma sounds like
well,
it's
we
shooting
haven't
goop at
established
you.
what's in there yet.
There's probably an
Yeah.
arsenal, right?
Do we
It's
need
just
to?
a diner. Well,
An arsenal in the spaceship.
All right, I'm gonna peer in
Oh.
and see what I see. All right.
It looks like a 1950s diner to a T, but all the windows are blown out, so space and debris are just floating around everywhere.
Okay.
So, all right, I'm gonna look inside. It looks pretty clear, but it's a little bit too clear. There's nothing here. There's no organic matter around. Usually the worms leave behind just scraps, but there's nothing.
Let me check my organic matter detector, and I have that. And yes, there's one right over here. Oh, it's you, Chelsea.
Oh.
Well, at least it's working, but it doesn't seem like there's anything here.
Happy, don't you don't suppose that you're supposed to have like a squad in Happy Squad because you're the only one that's going in.
How insensitive.
We just lost our entire squadron except for me and the captain.
Oh,
I'm not allowed to say how
Was
I
that, your,
feel
right.
about the captain
was that your rabbit voice?
yes.
because he outranks me, but he left me out here with 2 robots and an injured woman to clear out this diner.
Who's the one that put this together?
Don't ask me. I'm just a cadet.
Just as you guys are arguing, a giant Hypexia moonworm busts through the floor of the diner and sends it shattering into pieces, and it makes a giant roar, but you can't hear it because sound doesn't travel in space. But you think it roars because it goes like this.
Ah, jeez.
So I attempt to scream, but my mic isn't working. So all you see is this, and I float in a different direction.
Acid spews from the mouth of the Hypexia moonworm. Everyone try to dodge.
I'm dodging.
Okay.
Rabbit, you critical and you somersault right back into the spaceship.
Ha!
Alex dodges out of the way. Happy?
Yeah.
Alex is fine. Happy's dead. No. And Chelsea, yeah, you dodge out of the way. And Spine also dodges out of the way.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
On point.
Let's take it down. Let's go with Rabbit first.
Okay.
Let's just go.
I'm going
counterclockwise.
to-
some weird counterclockwise.
Unfurl my minigun and start
You
using.
have a minigun?
I have a Gatling gun in my hand.
Oh well,
On my
okay.
arm.
I'm just trying to make sure we.
Yes.
In this universe,
I spring it out and wait. Is there gravity?
would a gun work in space?
I thought
No,
there
it-
was gravity. Oh, in
Well,
the diner.
I mean, if we want to get technical sciencey, yes, there's gravity.
There's-
Yeah.
There's gravity because it has some artificial gravity on this
So
platform
it
that
would
the
work.
liner's on.
Yeah.
So it would work.
But what about there's no oxygen? Does it need
Oh.
oxygen for the?
So,
If for the no.
so it probably wouldn't work.
So the way that a cartridge works is that there's a primer and then there's a explosive inside. So it's a concussion. So if it works that way, like if it works like Earth guns do, then yeah, it would work.
It's a Gatling gun. It's an old timey.
So yeah, it would work that
minigun.
way. So all you need to do is just point it and it would go in that direction.
All right.
It would actually go faster in space.
But if you were not on gravity and you would shoot it and then you would go the opposite way of the bullet.
Okay. So
But we're on gravity. We have
I'm gonna
artificial
start
gravity.
shoot a barrage at the big old moonworm.
Where are you gonna aim?
Towards its center.
So if here's the moonworm and so
right here.
okay, right where his throat is.
Yes.
Where's his throat? This is the worm. You miss, and you shoot up a piece of the diner that's floating next to the moonworm, and it shatters into pieces. And there's no sound,
Ha!
but it looks epic. Happy.
Just
What do you
imagine
wanna
what
do?
that would have done
Alright,
if I had actually hit something.
I aim and fire my standard issue hamster lasers,
Hamster lasers?
which are attached to my nose because our digits and arms are too small to aim.
Okay.
So that's what I
Is
do.
that somehow in the helmet?
It's yes. It's how we have to train. Have you seen our bodies?
I mean,
We can't aim weapons with these things.
Okay, so
We don't even walk
where are you
anymore.
aiming? Where are you aiming at?
Directly at his face.
Right at his face. Yeah, you fire off a few lasers, and I would say 3 out of 5 hit. The moonworm recoils, and then immediately heads towards the direction of Hampy. Chelsea, what do you want to do?
I want to jump in front of Hampy and fire my gun straight into the moonworm's mouth.
So you
if
want-
it's open.
so you wanna-
Is it
you-
roaring? I want to.
Are you trying to like?
I want to blow it up from the inside.
You're trying to get in front, so you're trying to like
Yeah.
say like take the heat from.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, I
we'll
think
have
I
two
can do
rolls.
it. I'm gonna jump in front.
Okay,
and
so we'll
aim.
have 2 rolls. We'll have one that you have enough dexterity to see that
Okay.
happening, and see if you can do that. Then you don't.
Okay.
So you fall on your face.
Okay.
I'll let you shoot though because you want to do it in 2 turns.
Yeah.
So you can still aim at him and see. We'll see.
I'm on the ground,
Yeah, but you do shoot him. Where
Okay.
did you want to aim?
right into its open mouth.
Okay. Yes, and the laser smashes through the top palate of its mouth and exits out the back.
Oh, cool.
But it's still alive because it's a worm, and
And it doesn't have a brain.
I mean,
Its
maybe
brain
these
is in
do.
its butt.
I can't remember the anatomy we came up with, but this one's giant, so maybe it's
Okay.
different.
Well, I got one hit in. Now I'm on the ground.
And the spine's gonna become a giant Tesla coil, or something. And he's gonna have a big rod come out from the back of his head, and he's going to try and you've seen those things where people like play with lightning, and
Yeah.
they're giant conduits.
Yeah.
He's gonna like throw lightning at the moonworm, trying to fry
Okay.
it.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, he does. Cool. And I aimed at his eyes. They don't have eyes, do they? Okay, where the eyes might be. I make eye holes for him, and it just smashes through the top of his head.
Okay, so his head is pretty
And let's see what happens to the
messed
worm.
up now.
And the worm splits in 2 as that happens, and now we have 2 medium-sized moonworms.
Ah.
Uh-oh.
They both use their psychic abilities and pull up giant AK-47s, and because they have telekinetic abilities.
And I'm using a hamster rifle, right?
Yeah.
One
Something,
of
yeah, something
Something
we found in our
again.
caches.
So like
Okay.
the trigger's like super small. Because
Okay.
the hands are.
Do you gotta wear it on your
Use
nose
my-
like they do? Wait, is it my turn now?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
I want to try to. Can I do like a spray in their general direction, like a fan? A fan?
With the minigun?
Yes.
Okay. No.
Eat this.
It jams.
Darn it! It's archaic technology.
All right. What do you want to do?
All right, I noticed the situation, and I attempt to radio back to my cat for air support using comms. I attempt to, so we'll see if the comms work.
Like the ship,
Yeah,
or like
the ship.
you want air support on the ship?
Yeah, from the ship. So we'll see if
you're
my
gonna
comms
see
work.
If you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you want to say?
So, all right, this is Hampy 1-2. We need air support right here. There are two AK-47s wielded by 2 worms now.
Yeah.
So we have 2 bogeys with small arms. We need support stat, and then so that goes through, and we have to wait for something to happen later.
It'll be in
So
another
it's Chelsea's turn.
few
Yeah.
seconds.
Okay.
Chelsea's
Can I try sneaking around behind the worms? Is there anywhere to?
Well, let's
To
see.
hide?
First, we'll see if that's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a -5 penalty to it, just because you're out in the open in space on a platform that has a diner just
Oh,
slapped
I
to it.
didn't know we were on a platform. I don't know where we
Yeah,
are.
I mean, if you have to see it in my head, I suppose.
I don't know.
You didn't see it? You didn't
and
see
there's
it
a
when David
diner,
imagined
and then
it?
we just landed there.
I was imagining a diner like in the middle of like a
Yeah, I don't know, I
Mars
saw-
I was
landscape
imagining like Hitchhiker's
with
Guide
like
or-
boulders and stuff.
or the one in Spaceballs.
I mean, there's diner pieces everywhere apparently
Yeah.
right now.
Basically,
so.
like
There's,
to
like,
walk into the diner, you
shrapnel,
have to get in
right?
a spacesuit, and then you're in the diner. I don't know. Somewhere there's an
There are
airlock.
big pieces of wreckage. Can I hide somewhere? I just want to hide.
The diner zone was pretty much destroyed.
Okay.
So you want to see if you can
Yeah.
hide. No.
Ugh,
They see
okay.
you. Or the minute you try to like get all sneaky, that one of the worms like turns towards you.
Okay.
You can do something else because that was just to see if you were going
Is
to be
it near
sneaky.
me?
Yeah, they're a good like 10, 20 feet.
Can I
ahead of us.
roundhouse kick it in the face?
You want to try to use your martial arts ability, which
Yeah.
is
Which I totally have.
Is this what Walter Worker Chelsea's known for? We have to dig up some stats on you.
Okay. I don't know.
So you take
You take kung fu in your free time?
Sure.
Okay. I won't give you a penalty then.
It's like
Yeah, I know you got rolled 19 then. So we wanted to roundhouse kick it in the
face.
in the face.
In the head.
All right, so you round up with your kick and you kick it in the face and it hits back and it knocks its head into a car that was just sitting there. A space car.
Space car.
Did I hurt it?
Yeah, I mean it's vaguely hurt, but it's a worm, so it's
Because
pretty
I
squishy.
keep shooting at them and they just create more of themselves. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever found a way to actually kill them.
The one worm that didn't get hit tries to attack Rabbit because you've been trying to shoot it. Let's see what it does to it. Nothing. It misses you.
Aha! Gonna have to be faster than that to get me.
You actually didn't have to move at all. It just kind of like it just misaimed because it's a worm, I guess.
You done, worm? Next turn, I'm gonna shoot you full of whatever comes out of this minigun.
The Spine's gonna see if he can do another shot and see if he recharges fast enough. He does not. Okay. Then I guess won't. Okay, I guess.
I need more time to recharge.
And then you hear on your comms on the radio.
We can't risk.
Well, I don't remember how he sounds.
Akbar Akbar.
We can't risk. We can't risk destroying the diner. We love that thing, even though it's already half destroyed.
What,
Air support denied.
There's a second spine on the ship?
I only have one voice.
Blast it, Hampy Actual. This is what happened last time. This is why we lost the squadron last time. You're too cautious for me.
You're on your own. They fly away.
Hey, wait!
Hey, that's nothing new from that one.
Well, I guess we're gonna die.
I guess I'm captain of this outfit now.
They love this diner.
Well, I guess you two are gonna die. We're robots, so we're gonna be okay.
This is very true. It was nice knowing you, organic beings.
I mean, we didn't know you for that long in the span of things. Sorry, Walter Work at Chelsea,
It's
but
true.
whose turn is it?
Oh,
it's a worm's turn.
No.
It's a worm's turn, isn't it?
They tried to attack you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of
Oh,
them's
yeah.
kind of.
Oh, then it's my turn. I'm gonna try the same
Yes.
thing. Fan.
Nope. And this time you pretty much destroy the rest of the diner. So it's pretty much it's just a platform now.
I haven't used this thing in quite a long time.
Well, I would say that a mission not achieved. The diner is destroyed. There's worms on a platform. Do we just call it a day? Maybe is there a self-destruct sequence that we can activate on the platform just to make sure the worms don't?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
So
Wait,
I'm blind.
are we stranded? Do we have a ship?
No, they flew away.
So I'm blind with rage because of all the crap that just happened. Because my captain let me down again, and I'm literally the only one left. So I equip my last ditch gear that
Last-ditch gear.
they issued me. So I take out all the explosives that I have and just throw them in different directions towards the worms
All right, let's see. If
without
that works.
reason. I'm just blind with rage.
You can roll a 2.
All right, so I just get this,
You throw them up and they just.
in my rage, the detonators went off way too early, and the last thing I see is a flash of light.
So you blew up yourself.
Yeah, I'm gone. That was a critical. That was a critical, right?
No,
Or that was a 2.
It
That's
was
not
almost
good.
a critical fail.
So, but
maybe
I'm
just your legs.
I'm
are blown
flying in different. I'm flying in a direction I can't see because I'm blind.
off. You blinded yourself. You
I
blew your
blinded
eyes
myself. Yeah,
off. Okay.
I'm just flying somewhere. So that's my fate right now, and I'm still pissed.
I'm kind of understanding why the Hamptons aren't a very great military force.
I mean, it's the heart that they really have.
I mean, wait, maybe that distracted the worms? The fireworks show above?
Let's see.
I mean, it was everything
No.
I had.
No,
No,
it
it
didn't.
was unfazed by them.
It made them more angry. They're gonna take some free swipes at all 3 of us and 0 away. Here's
Yeah.
one for Rabbit. Nope, they miss you. They're not very accurate. Chelsea, they miss you. Spine. That's like in between 2 numbers there. Yeah, they hit me though. So they take off one of my arms.
Oh, God, spine!
It's all right. I don't feel pain.
Oh, good.
And I just put it back on. Let's see if I can put it back on. I cannot.
I brought my toolkit. Can I grab it?
Let's see if we can grab it.
It's floating away.
Wait, I
No.
got an idea.
I missed.
Do you think? I think Spine and Rabbit have like some sort of like Power Ranger ability. You know, where they
We
can
did-
combine their weapons.
We did that last time. We can't do that every encounter.
Oh, did we do that last
At
time?
least have to have a long
Wait,
rest.
did we do that last time? I don't remember that.
Or we tried to, but it failed.
Yeah, it failed.
We tried something like that.
Well, I got a death ray. Can I pull that out? It's
Next
like
time on Steam Powered Giraffe, the tabletop adventure.
No one to keep
RPG.
playing. What?
I mean, I'm blind and
All right,
flying
well.
in space.
That's
But
But
I
you're
mean,
still alive?
a cliffhanger.
We'll see. We'll see.
So far, we've just failed every single time.
You three have to figure out this whole situation where you contended.
You're probably just dead.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
You're probably just.
Yeah. I'll come back in like 17 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, then you'll be like, you'll have like moonworms in your stomach.
I'll have like
You'll be like,
Well, but
best
you're
light
blind
bulbs
now,
for
so you have like a staff, and you're
Yeah.
like an
You
expert.
become a
You're
villain?
a kung fu
Yeah.
master.
Or yeah.
you just find me at like a space bar.
You started your own diner.
Yeah.
Ladies and
Wait.
gentlemen,
Sorry.
welcome to the podcast. I'm Isabella Bunny Bennett.
I'm David Michael Bennett.
I'm Chelsea Penyak.
And I'm Alex Tran. And happy Lunar New Year to those of you who celebrate.
yeah.
So full moon tonight and a new year.
That's right.
Those of you
Who celebrates that?
like
Like, is there a culture?
I'm Vietnamese, so I can say with certainty that Vietnamese celebrate it. I do not know what the other customs are. I just do know that right now many children are getting cash prizes from their family right now. So
Mm.
it's a very nice.
We talking about $100 bills?
It
Undies?
depends. It depends. I think as time went on, they got more and more, but.
So it's not actually presents. It's more like it's actually.
So
cash.
it's like tithes. I say it comes in, but it's traditionally you have these ornate red envelopes you put them in. It's kind of a
Cool.
sort of a from the eldest to the youngest kind of a source of a gesture of goodwill. So
Yeah.
those of you celebrating, enjoy that. Enjoy your cakes, which I don't like, but that's all for you.
What kind of cakes?
They're called moon cakes.
Mooncakes.
Incidentally, it sounds really lorry, yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
it? But no, but it's actually they're called moon cakes, and they're made of I forget what they're made of, but they're kind
Is
of
it moon?
Possibly. No, they're not made of moon. They're generally, I don't know the ingredients, but when it comes to taste and texture, it's kind of almost like a chalky, semi-sweet texture. It's a bit mild. I don't know. It's not for me.
I want to
So.
try.
Yeah. But you should be able to find some anywhere,
Yeah.
especially around this season. So
Oh, yeah.
lots of events are going on in the video game world and all around for that. I don't know if San Diego has celebrations, but I know many places right now are having celebrations with lions and dogs and dragons and firecrackers and stuff. So
Don't forget roosters, because rooster
Yeah.
is the year of the.
it's the year of the rooster.
the metal
Yeah.
rooster.
And that's the Chinese zodiac?
The Chinese
Or-
zodiac is has
Yeah.
a golden
So what's
rooster.
so it's golden this year?
I believe so.
They
Yes.
have different metals, right?
Oh.
Yeah,
I
something
think
like
it's
that.
gold.
It's
Yeah,
golden rooster this year.
I know
Oh.
that because the Heroes of the Storm has a giant gold rooster mount you can ride.
I didn't know gold. I knew that there's earth, fire, air, water, of course, but then in this Chinese zodiac, there's also metal is one of the, and wood are two of the elements, I think. Because, like, the year I was born, 89, made me an earth snake. But, like, I remember reading that there's, like,
What are we?
metal
I
and
think
wood.
it was
It's-
something stupid like a tiger.
Well, we're tiger. I
you're
know
tigers.
for sure. But what are we? What's our elements?
Yeah. That,
Is that
it
based-
makes
that's
it,
based-
like, it makes it more like every 12 years, there's 12 signs, but then, like, it will be a really long time until someone has your exact element and animal combination again, because there's like 6 elements in the Chinese zodiac, I think.
I want to look that up. I
Yeah.
want to see what element David and I are.
So, what's new with everyone? The podcast is heard and seen, for those of you who subscribe to Engineer-eteers to see us, has seen a lot of Chelsea and David, but we haven't seen a
Yeah.
lot of Bunny. And you obviously haven't seen Alex at
I
all.
haven't done much except work and rehearse since the last podcast, so not too much for me to talk about.
I've been playing games, Final Fantasies, and I've been really sick, so that's mostly what I've been doing. Is, working on comics. I mean, working. Also, David and I are fire tigers.
Oh, fire. Fire.
Well,
type.
that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I know it's boring, but we haven't. I mean, we've been working on the new act, mostly all of
Yeah.
us. So.
Yeah, and it's not something that we can really talk about yet because we haven't done the first show, so it's kind of like, yep, we've been working.
Yeah, pretty much that's the priority right now is getting the new act. So there's not much we can share with Engineer-eteers right now. I mean, we want to, but like if we did a live stream of a rehearsal, it's too much to focus on right now. If we had to perform for people,
Yeah, we'll probably do a live stream a couple months from now or so. Just we need to get under our belt first. There's so much to focus
Yeah.
on.
And having an audience would just detract from.
Yeah, you probably don't want to
learning.
have people watching a live stream of the show before it's premiered, right?
Yeah, that would be
You don't want to
kinda
give away
steal
the
thunder.
surprises.
Right.
Yeah.
The least we could probably do is maybe one song on a Periscope.
We could do like an acoustic or something.
But it would
maybe.
be a planned one rather than like tune in and watch us just practice. It would be like we'll play one song.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do in the future. We're just trying to get it all done. There's a lot of work to make a show.
Got about 2 weeks before
2 weeks.
the Escondido show.
2 weeks
Very
of
exciting.
intense rehearsals coming up.
Yeah.
I think we only have like 1 day off this week, tomorrow, and that's it. And the rest is all just.
Day off. It's just a day where you're not.
It's a day where we're not.
doing rehearsing.
A day off of rehearsing. Everything else. Well, we'll probably still be rehearsing.
It's a day
in our
off
own
from
time.
getting together.
Right.
You're still working on your own.
Yeah. Alex and we played a game this weekend. The For Honor beta.
Ah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I played it once. Didn't care for it.
Did you use controller?
Yeah, I did.
It was much easier than keyboard.
It has a pretty steep learning curve. I believe it just if you're into those things you are, if not. But it's a steep learning curve. But it definitely was a beta this weekend. There were definitely a lot of issues. But me and Bunny found some value in it. I think it's fun.
It was pretty fun once I got into it.
What class did you like playing as?
So I learned they only had like 3.
There's 3 factions.
Each one had
Faction,
was
yeah.
missing one.
Yeah.
One class. So they have a Valkyrie. Valkyrie.
They have Valkyrie class for the
Ooh.
Vikings. They
Yeah.
have I forget what the new one for the Crusader is, but they have like a giant class for the samurais. It's like a big like mace wielding one, which is pretty nice.
It's pretty cool.
But you chose Vikings. I chose.
Yeah, they didn't have the Valkyrie for play test, but they did have the. I was just the raider, two-handed.
Yeah. I was just the generic samurai. I tried the other two, but the samurai. So the game is going to have some weird balancing issues, I believe, because of dominant strategy. Because one of the first, it does a few things that I don't enjoy about games with progression like that. Like there's some low-level progression things that you somewhat need to survive in the game. So the first like 3-4 levels that you play, you're just kind of miserable because everybody seems to have an advantage over you. And then you get the abilities that auto heal you and things like that. And then you're like, oh, now I see where the fun of the game is. So I don't enjoy that aspect. And we're gonna have to restart in 2 weeks when it comes out.
It's
so.
nice, like when we were all playing. It's like when we stuck together, like you really can like just overtake people and really cool things.
I think the
happen.
biggest thing that's weird about it is it's only 4 players and the maps aren't very big and it doesn't have that sense of war that you would imagine from a game that's about. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's called For Honor and it's like samurais
versus Vikings versus Crusaders.
Yep.
and like it's like a fantasy
Sounds
world,
cool.
but it's not like Dynasty Warriors where it's like a bunch of armies. Like there's a few people, there's a few like extra NPCs that are fighting alongside you, but it's a deathmatch game. But but the controls are, I wouldn't say they're Dark Souls-ish. It's that it's a lot of moving your right stick in the direction and trying to hit at the same time, but also parry. It's reactionary. I guess.
It's that reactionary kind of rock paper scissors type game, where there's certain counter actions, other actions, and there's a decision making into it. If you enjoyed games like Chivalry or Mountain Blade, you may enjoy the gameplay that it can. If you play the right class, it can kind of scratch that Dynasty Wars itch, but like David said, it's not.
Yeah.
At least, well, again, we're speaking from a beta experience. Me and Bunny are hoping that the single player experience is going to have like large expanses of battlefields where we
haven't seen that, so that's
we
the only
haven't
reason-
seen
yeah.
it. We have,
but it is
nothing to tell
co-op.
us.
The
From what I
campaign's
saw,
co-op.
it looks very small.
Yeah,
that's
that was my biggest
We have
critique. Is
nothing.
it's small.
Those maps are fun, but we were kind of like hoping, like, man, it would be cool if we were on a mountain. You're like, because
we're
like it's
charging
fun to
down.
like kill all those
That's
mini
what-
guys,
but that's what Mountain Blade is, and that's why
Yeah.
Mountain Blade is great. It's just the
Mountain
graphics
Blade's
aren't great.
So
Yeah.
maybe they'll come out with bigger ones because the 4 versus 4 is like it's fun, but it does. You're right. You kind of wish that there was like a.
I mean,
a
what
bigger mode. or
What the game
something.
does is fun, I suppose, but I don't know what the longevity of that is.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So, because right now there's only 3 game modes principally, and like you said, the longevity. When it comes down to it, after you play a few games, you realize, the middle ground doesn't really matter. So you're just fighting for the 2 ones at the outside, because those are the ones that aren't occupied by enemies. So you go to there. But as a multiplayer game, we had a lot of fun. It was me,
Yeah.
Bunny, and Steve last night, and so Steve was a Crusader, you were a Viking, and I was Samurai, and we were just kind of running around doing a thing. We had a really great moment last night. When we were hunting down the last person, and they like fell into a pit, and all three of us
did
jumped
like
up. Aerial attacks and just like pretty much
Landed
crushed
on
them
them.
under us, and that was how we won the game. So
I mean, that seems fun and all that too.
yeah,
but,
that was fun. But
I feel like maybe this might be another Evolve, where the idea is
yeah,
fun
I
and it
remember
is
that
fun
one.
for like a few games, and then you're like, okay, there's not
Yeah, we're
much
going to
else
see.
to do.
Like, if the campaign is pretty meaty and that's fun and there's a lot to unlock. It doesn't really have a traditional season pass. It's mostly you get to season pass and you just unlock the extra classes they come out with without having to like pay the in-game currency that you earn by
So
playing
when are they going to
games.
show off the single player? Because if
They have a trailer for it.
if it's just the multiplayer matches set to some weird story, like that would just really suck.
yeah, that was like
We don't know exactly. Yeah.
games have done that before, and it has been great. So
No,
that's
no.
what we're hoping that they're not going to do.
It has like full cutscenes and stuff that from the trailer, but you can't tell if it's like how it's going to play in.
So it might be
together.
one to. I mean, there's no reason to pre-order.
Plus, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's Ubisoft and
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That was the thing that first kind of perturbed me. That when Bunny gave me the code for it was an Ubisoft email. Like, and it took me like 3 days to even redeem the code because their website wouldn't load.
Oh
so
my god.
yeah.
There was that, but I mean, I'm not gonna ding down any game. I enjoyed it. For some reason I'm really good at killing people in the game. I don't know why.
I practiced a move that I got really good at. It was I think it's breaking. You interrupt them and then you
you can
charge
throw
into
'em,
them and then
yeah.
you can throw them against the
Yeah.
wall and then once they stumble down, then I can do like a heavy attack.
Now,
on
to its
them.
credit, it does have kind of like that somewhat Dynasty Warriors style of characters where each character does actually have movesets. So you have two principal attacks, a heavy attack and a light attack, and you can combine them certain ways and actually have combos. So there's actually some learning to do and some familiarity with the characters, which is real nice, I think.
It comes out on Valentine's Day, so we're gonna play it Valentine's Day weekend and have.
If the servers are functional.
Yeah.
You're getting it on PC, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I was considering like because I didn't. If everyone was gonna buy it on like PS4, because it's almost impossible to play on a
Mhm.
keyboard. Like it's so hard.
No, I mean you're at a disadvantage because having that stick on your thumb with everything on your fingers, it's just like
Making those decisions in a split second is a lot easier on.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
controller.
I mean even something like Dark Souls, it makes sense on a console controller.
We'll keep an eye on that game and see what happens.
But I mean, I have nothing but high hopes. But I'm always cautious with these games.
Yeah, I don't want. I got Evolve and I was like, this would be fun, and then no one bought it.
and
I'm
now,
like,
now you can buy it for like $9.
I thought
It's free,
No, I
yeah,
thought
it's
it's free
free,
now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's free
yeah.
to play.
Oh wow.
So it was free to play for like a weekend, then it hit like 1 million, and then it's just down to nothing now. I think. as far as
Well,
I know.
it looked like a cheaper game to me. Like I watched you play a lot
Yeah.
of it, and it was
a
kind of
lot. I
like,
play like twice.
well, yeah, but like that felt like what I saw you play felt like the entire game. Like
It
there
was.
wasn't much
It
to
didn't
it.
feel like a $50 game. And
No.
I'm tired of
Yeah,
buying
oh my
games that are
gosh.
like if For Honor was just what I played in the beta, I would be like, this ain't.
There's
worth
no way it's
50
worth
bucks.
60
Yeah.
bucks or whatever.
So if For Honor came out as it was today, $20 I think is stretching it. But that's just me. I don't feel it's worth the full 60. It kind of has.
If it has the campaign,
And if
maybe
the
a little
campaign's
higher. But it just
meaty-
depends on what we get with it.
Like I like the first Titanfall I felt had the same problem where it was like, here's a multiplayer game, like this ain't worth $60. But the second one came out and I'm like, oh, there's a whole damn campaign on there and that one's really good and I think that's worth $60 because the campaign alone could probably get you 30 hours of gameplay. Whereas multiplayer, of course you can put in tons of hours
Yeah.
into it.
But
Yeah.
that's on the player to do so. But yeah, I'm hoping for that.
We're
just hope it's
hoping.
not.
I'll wait for a review.
I already pre-ordered because I wanted the cool
She wants to be.
emblems and
She wants
stuff.
to be a Valkyrie, real bad too. So.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna grind.
I
to
played a
unlock
few of
that
the classes,
class.
but I feel like the easiest one to play was the
Raider.
first one that you get.
The first one you
Yeah.
get.
from the Crusaders.
Crusaders.
It was like just because if you want to be good at everything. I tried the one with that was because I only played the Crusaders, but
Mhm.
I tried the one that was like quick.
The assassin. Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I'm a lot faster now, but like the minute I take a hit, I'm almost
You're
dead.
pretty much dead. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the assassins. The assassins. The only way the assassins can heal themselves is to kill players, which is something that somewhat rarely happens. So
Yeah.
So most people, what I see most people doing is maining their the first person, like you said, and then like delving into those other ones. But it's just because of the dominant strategy effect of games, because those first classes can heal themselves through killing minions. All of them, I believe, can do that. There's no reason not to if you
Yeah.
want to quote unquote win.
These-
They can also self heal, so they're probably gonna have to balance it out.
They each have a difficulty rating. The first one is easy. The second one's medium. The assassin's hard. But I was having a lot of, because I was doing like a quest to be an assassin
for 5 games. Yeah.
When I followed you guys and I would like kind of circle around the back to the back of the enemy, I would get my kill. I would regen health because that was a lot more effective than going in alone. Like with the tank classes and stuff, it's like with a shield, it's like that.
Yeah. And so for those of you who care about For Honor or things like it's if you play Dark Souls or Bloodborne, it may be a bit frustrating because it is at least in multiplayer, it is a multiplayer game. So the game has to register all these actions and results from actions. So if you're trying to dodge sometimes, and your connection may be off, or if you're trying to take any action, sometimes player priorities come to matter. And even though you're intending to dodge or do something that will save your life, you may die a lot, and it's a bit frustrating because in Bloodborne, it's pretty you're by yourself, and it's just a bunch of computer NPCs. So when you dodge, it's a crisp dodge, and a lot of the bosses require you to dodge in that split second and make it in. For Honor, you kind of have to plan ahead about a half a second, which may not sound like a big deal, but in a grand scheme of things, it kind of changes the way you think of it. So if you're going into it with kind of that Bloodborne, Dark Souls mentality, you may get a little frustrated because it's just not as fast.
Yeah, it's not as responsive. Like if you want to run away, you really have to like do it before they
before
start
swinging. So if you get in the right, sometimes a lot of people have learned blocking is a lot more effective than dodging until you actually get an opening to do so. So that's just kind of because that's what I saw a lot of people complaining about. I was like, and I felt it too. It was like, I was mashing the dodge button and nothing happened. But I understood why. It's a multiplayer game. These aren't like NPCs. So,
well, you guys asked us, or Bunny asked if I wanted to play, but Chelsea and I were playing Divinity: Original Sin.
Yeah.
And I think we're close.
We're almost done, and it's been really fun.
Yep.
We actually started that this weekend.
That. We were both very very tired, and
very tired.
But we started it anyways, and it's just some
I keep standing in poison every time, and then we had to reload our game.
We started I want to say a year or more ago, and we took really long breaks in between play sessions, but I remember when we started. It's been so long now.
And
but
the first thing that happened is
I was
we died.
really
and we're like,
struggling.
I'm all alone in the world, and I'm like, how do I get back Chelsea's character?
When we were the first few levels, you don't have anything. You don't have any supplies or potions or scrolls or anything. And
you're like, I'm gonna go put this boat that's on fire out. I feel good.
Yeah,
you probably didn't get that.
I kept dying, and at one point I died, and we had no way of resurrecting me.
Well, you don't know anything. The game doesn't hold your hand. So.
Yeah, you had to walk all the way back to town.
And then I'm like, this guy sells resurrection scrolls, and then I ran back to the body, and
I
think that's what we did.
Yeah. So
and then I stood in poison again and died.
It gets a lot.
Luckily,
easier,
you saved
though.
before, right when you you saved.
Yeah,
we were very frustrated.
We were really frustrated and tired.
Quick save all the time.
Yeah.
we were loading you do something stupid like, oh crap, I shot something and then the fire caught on the poison and but that's like the fun of it is like, okay, well now I wiped out our whole squad in one turn. I guess we'll reload.
It doesn't hold your hand. I know it's a little frustrating the way it really doesn't help you at all in letting you know what you need to do next. A lot of the time, some of the puzzles are irritating, but overall it's really fun.
And we got lost a few times, but I don't think anything that we found was, there's only maybe one thing of we were in the right area, but we somehow just missed what it was. Most of the stuff is it's kind of obvious after you figure it out.
Yeah, we didn't finish one of our maps two levels before.
We found an exit on a map to another area. And then we completely just forgot about this other area.
Yeah.
And then we got to this point where we needed this other ingredient, and we're like, how are we supposed to defeat these guys? And we're like, we're supposed to make this spell, but we needed both ingredients, and we only picked out one. So then we had to go back and. But now that we have it, but that's the thing is it's not linear in any sense. Like if you want, you can go to the very end. Well, not really. Some stuff is blocked off, and of course the enemies are just so massive at the end. But it's but I think that's why people like the game, is because it doesn't hold your hand. There are tutorials that pop up and tell you how to play the game, but it's never like, here's a waypoint, go there. It's usually like, here's the person that will give you the quest, and then you figure out how to do the quest for him. But here's the person you can go back to turn it into. But it's definitely not like it's not like, defeat 5 of these and collect those. It's always like something more than they don't really do quests like that. Like there's all the side quests have importance. There's There's
Yeah.
nothing that's like a waste of your time, basically.
Well, and I mean, we've gone through the whole game, and I haven't crafted anything too. So like, that's a whole other aspect of the game that you don't really have to get into to
you can get
finish the game.
you get the best gear if you craft,
But
I think,
you can
weapons. But
craft.
from what I've seen
You can,
online,
like craft arrows and stuff too. Right?
if you want,
I-
But I mean, we find so
I
much.
have a ranger character who uses a crossbow, and I've never crafted a single.
Because you can
arrow
find a lot of
because
stuff too.
I just
but-
pick up arrows all over the place.
We had fun with it, but we were just frustrated. And we had also
Yeah.
tried the right before that other game that was Aeon,
Aeon Alter.
Oh, we
yeah,
tried
the
that.
cell phone game,
which is
Yeah.
not bad. It's just the
Cell
graphics
phone,
are
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not as
no.
polished, so
Yeah.
it's really hard to play.
I was just interested in what my progression was going to be. That was the only thing. But
I-
yeah, it's not very.
Yeah, that one's
polished.
it's a game you play on your PC, but you control it with your
phone,
smartphone, which is.
yeah.
But what I liked about it is that it's another one of those. It's a game that's trying to emulate the tabletop feeling, where
Yeah.
it gives
Mhm.
you the dialogue for you to read out loud to everyone around you.
Yeah.
It's intended to be like a party game. You sit on a couch and
And it gives you like cool things where you have like secret thoughts and you can tell your party or not. It instructs you to do so and things of that
Yeah.
nature.
it's only like
Um,
$9 or $10.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not like Bunny says, not that very graphically pleasing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like Divinity in a way, but Divinity is much
Yeah.
more
Complicated
of a
fleshed out,
game, I
yeah.
guess.
I'll be right back.
So I got like a giant spider, and I'm liking my giant spider. and
Where?
in Divinity, the original sin.
She has.
So you have a. So you
Battle?
are you a geomancy?
So I took a witch, but I'm wondering, can I switch to?
You just have to
Can I make
unlock-
like a Death Knight type class?
are
or
you
is
ta-
that-
with the character that you already have?
Yeah, like can I start wearing like heavy armor and carrying a two-handed
Yeah,
sword?
I mean, the thing with the game is you could literally put 1 point into everything and be jack of all trades, master of none. But as Chelsea did, she did a rogue, so she started taking scoundrel feats and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she also did
Arrow
did
Thurge.
arrow thurge, which is like
Air
lightning,
spells.
air and stuff. And then she also did witchcraft, and then that just
I was spread too thin.
spread too thin. So
And-
compared
yeah.
to my characters, which I had the sorcerer or the wizard, I guess is what they in this game did pyromancy, and that's it. and
You have
and
water
maybe lore
too.
master too, but
Yeah.
but like and then I did the other character, she did man at arms because she was like a two-handed person. She did man at arms and two-handed weaponry. So I like everyone says like if you
Yeah. So
because you have 4 characters,
you
there's no reason to
control-
like have a one that can do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, later in the game, like we're almost level 20 now. My main character, the
pyromancer,
wizard, the
yeah.
pyromancer, like she's already branching out into other things now. She already has like
because you've maxed out the,
Yeah,
the
and
pyromancy.
level 5
tree.
pyromancy. She's level 4 in hydro, whatever, the water one. So eventually you just, but the thing is, if you try to get them all up like this, you'll just die in all the things because. Like
Yeah.
so
Yes, because like when we started like over a year ago or whatever, I didn't know what I was doing. The game was really complicated, and I was just kind of putting points wherever I felt like, oh, that'd be cool to have some lore master, or this would be cool. But then I realized like halfway through the game, my character wasn't doing nearly as much damage as his.
and it was like okay, it's kind of like
So-
a handicap to everyone else.
Yeah, so like
There's a place in the game like maybe
Later
halfway or maybe 75% of the way through
That-
where there is like something that you can like reset your points.
Yeah, you can completely like reset your character, and then like it'll give you all your points back. It was like now I have 35 points and I can put them back in wherever I wanted. So I actually like erased my character's abilities and redistributed them. So I maxed out my arrow thurge level, so now I can like do the really high powerful arrow spells, and I'm
Yeah.
more on the level of you as far as damage is
It's
concerned.
usually you pick 2 things to master
Yeah.
in because that's how many points you kind of really have.
So I lost some of my other skills. Like I had some random rogue skills, like turn invisible, that kind of stuff.
Basically, you're not
And
really
I
a rogue
realized
anymore.
I-
Now you're
yeah.
you're a arrow thurgy
I dual wield
magic user.
swords.
Yeah.
I don't use daggers. I started as a rogue, but I dual wield swords, and I do a lot of air magic.
And then your attributes are pretty much divided evenly between the dexterity and
Yeah.
whatever you need to do your air spells. Whereas like
Wait, I think it's intelligence, but
something like
yeah,
that.
something like
Yeah,
that.
and whereas my wizard character has all of it in intelligence. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I have my spider, and I like my spider, but it mostly because I don't have any skeletons or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Does witch eventually get like
Yeah.
necromancy?
which
Yes,
has
because-
summoned skeleton, yeah.
Yeah, I maxed out aerothergy, and then I started doing witchcraft, and you do get the ability to summon an undead skeleton warrior.
I really like that spider, but that's like a useless line. It's
the
like the
spider
only
is
line.
But
a geomancer.
Yeah,
that's a
geomancer.
but that's a novice spell too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could technically just have
Yeah.
1 point and still use it.
It is
It's-
a nice. We do like our spider.
It's just that spider
Yeah.
would cost a lot to summon it. It would because you only have 1 point in there. But
Combined,
Yeah.
we kind of like have a little bit of all the elements except for geomancy,
I'm starting on geomancy.
because your pyromancer has like
It's pretty
almost-
much everything that she doesn't.
You have fire and water.
I have fire, water. I
I
have a
have-
little bit of air, and I
I
have a
do-
little bit of geomancy.
and I have all the air and a bit of the witchcraft, but we don't have a geomancer in our party.
I mean, our best character is our man-at-arms,
Yeah.
and if you ever find her name's Medora in the game.
We only had like two. We only have two
We only
characters.
two characters, and
Well, yeah, you'll in the game you'll see there's other characters you can like recruit with you. You don't have to take
Yeah.
them with you,
no,
but
that's
yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah.
you'll find them, and then
But you can make another character.
third and fourth now.
Okay.
But you said
Yeah.
you were running
But
two
they
each.
found them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you-
like
you
you
s-
both create a character, and then you can recruit characters that
Oh,
already
okay.
already
and
exist in
and
the game.
whoever the host is, they can assign the characters to
I
each.
see.
Yeah, that's
so
how we found that.
so one person could control one, and the other person could control the other three if you wanted.
Yeah, so we just started, so we don't really have much.
Yeah.
We just made it to the first town.
You made a witch. I made a. I haven't seen this in a lot of games. I made a shadow blade, or what is
Oh.
it? So it's like a rogue that does spells.
So we're both vampires and drinking blood.
Yeah, the biggest
No,
reason.
that's a good
oh
one,
yeah,
yeah.
the,
The biggest
vampiric
reason-
where you soak up blood.
You suck up blood.
You'll suck
I
up your
love
own blood
that
too.
skill.
Like if someone
Yeah.
makes you bleed, you can just suck up your.
Yeah, there was one fight where this guy was taking forever to kill, and I was like right next to him, hitting him with my sword. And every single one of his turns, he would hit me and make me bleed. And then on my next turn, I would just soak up my blood and heal. So.
Yeah, but that was the biggest reason I got that. And see, I wanted to do like a rogue thing with daggers, but daggers just don't do that much damage.
They don't.
It's
That's
it's
why-
only the bonus, and
Yeah.
they only make sense when you're behind someone.
And
Yeah.
see, with the backstabs, it takes too many action points to
Yeah.
actually get there. And then once you get there, they don't do that much. But then and they're in a
Right.
position to get hit. So
I was using backstab early in the game, but I never use
It's
it anymore.
What you have to literally use the go invisible thing.
Invisible,
There's
yeah.
scoundrel skills that'll,
Scoundrel skills
but
that-
that's all that
Right.
character will do. But then that character can one shot a lot of things.
yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like that's what you have to do with that character. Like
Yeah.
what you were doing, you were like you had all these air spells with this
Mhm.
scoundrel thing, and we're like, well, you can't be invisible and
Yeah.
shoot lightning. at
I
them.
have I really like my air spells because I have one that allows me to teleport to an enemy, and after I damage him, I'm behind him. So early in the game, I was using that opportunity to then backstab them. But
Okay.
then at a point, it's just not doing much damage compared to my other stuff.
Is there armor proficiencies? Like, because right now we're only finding like robes
Yeah,
and maybe a
robes.
jerkin here and there. But
If you our one character who wears the best armor has the man-at-arms skill, and she has a armor specialist, I think. And there are big armors that do require points in that.
I see.
But all other armors you can pretty much wear. They just some of them will be dex based, so you need a certain dexterity. Some will be strength based, and of course, like if you're a wizard like me, it's all. I think it's all the. You're because I have like the glass cannon perk, where basically like don't touch me, but I can kill everything from far away.
does the so if I want to do two-handed, because I need to put points into that to be able to wield
Man
them.
at arms is the two-handed weapon.
Man at
stuff,
arms is just anything
like
that's
melee
But
stuff.
then if I also want
Melee stuff, yeah.
geomancy and witch, that's just too many, right?
Well,
try
to-
not all at once. Like pick the one that you want halfway through the game, because
Yeah.
if you don't, if you
I guess I should just put points.
because
into
you have to
the
imagine
witch
like you
stuff.
know you could have double the points in anything else if you just didn't focus on. So yeah, because
I-
eventually you'll max
yeah.
those out, but you want to be able to make sure that you can.
I was like
get through the
working on
game.
2 skills for a while, but the higher level you get, the more points you have to put into something to like reach that level. So like, you know, you only have to put 1 point into aerothergy to get level 1 aerothergy. But then like by the time you get to level 5 aerothergy, you have to build up like 5 ability points to
So
get
you have to
level
like
5.
level up and not spend the points, and then level up one
so
more
you have
time.
to
and then
like
you
level
can,
up a lot and save up your points if you want to get to the higher levels of a skill. So that's like why, you know, that's where I went wrong early in the game. I was eager to spend my points every time I got them. So it was like I was just putting them into things,
But-
other things besides aerothergy instead of saving up the points for a higher level aerothergy.
But like that's how, because me it was like I wanted to summon that fire elemental immediately. Like I was like I need to max
Yeah.
out this, and then they only max out at level 5, so that takes, you know, I don't know when. I mean, I still divided up a little bit, so it probably could have got there earlier.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're all magic based, then you're gonna get all the great magic spells because you're not putting points into any other weapon things. I don't even put it into like staff or anything because I'm never hitting anything. And I'm not using wands either, because you can use wands, and that's another point thing. But for staves, there's nothing. So I'm all putting nothing but points into that fire thing. And then I get the master spells is what you're and I have 2 master spells, and the last one is like a meteor, and it's just like literally like there's
The
if we
spells
can
are great.
if we don't enter combat like and I can see them, I cast that on a group of enemies, and then when the fight initiates, pretty much all of them are dead almost. So
yeah.
Just gotta find that reset because I think just because I didn't know any better. I think my class defaulted with wand specialties and stuff.
You can
Yeah.
unlearn skills though.
oh
You
yeah,
gotta find a place.
So like
to do
yeah,
it.
if you're at a skill level where it says you can learn 3 adept skills in
oh well, there's
fire
different.
or whatever.
So the skills are different than your.
oh yeah,
Then
then
what
you're
Yeah.
So the skills
yeah, you
like
can't
if you
unlearn
learn
witchcraft or something.
if you learn the
but-
summon spider spell, you can literally click it and say unlearn, and then you just have to get another skill book because you're limited by how many you can take depending on your level. So even when you have max level in like say pyromancy, like you can only use 2 master spells, but sometimes there's 3 or 4 to choose from,
Oh.
and you have to find those spells. But by the end of the game, you have all the spells available to you. Like you have like vendors and stuff that will. But yeah, it's just a game that doesn't hold your hand, so you learn
there's
as
a
you
lot.
go.
It's cool. We'll probably touch on it again. I first I bought Divinity 2,
Yeah, the second one that's coming out, Divinity Original Sin.
and it looked so great, and I really like the character designs in that one just because they have different races and they look
Yeah.
pretty unique.
It's
And
not-
that was
yeah.
fun, but it was very silent because there's no one talking.
Yeah, there's no
yeah.
voiceover. I mean, it's early access, so. But
That's going to be a lot of voiceovers unless they give everyone the same voice.
well, you know, the Divinity Original Sin when it first came out, because what you're playing right now is Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition, which is the edition that they came out with to release it on consoles. And so they put all that on PC, and they revamped the game with new graphics, voiceovers for everything, as well as controller user interface, as well as and controller input. So hopefully that'll happen with Divinity 2, but it's probably going to take a few years, because I think the first one came out in 2014, maybe? I don't know. Kickstarter games,
So
though.
Divinity Original
First one came out
Sin-
in 2012.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Well, wait, not
wow.
because there were other Divinity games. But
Pretty sure it was
Original
2012.
Sin?
Yeah, I'm pretty
2012?
sure.
And they came out with the Enhanced Edition in 2014, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Sounds right. Anyways, could be a long time before Divinity Original, because it's supposed to release this year, but that'll probably
So-
just be the base PC
So you
game.
can play it on console now? The enhanced edition?
Yeah, it's on PS4.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I think it runs at 60 frames, not in split screen. If I don't know.
if it was like cheap, it'd be fun to play through it again.
Yeah, it was
as,
20
like,
bucks.
A
It was
different,
20 bucks. It's on sale all the time.
as like a different class. I'd like want to explore Geomancer because we didn't really do that this time.
All I know is Medora, our two-handed giant sword
Fiend.
lady who has a southern accent, which is really weird in a fantasy game. I mean, some of the voice acting's kind of cringeworthy, but whatever. There's some of it's funny. And then, like, she literally like, oh, this demon, what are we gonna do? And then she hits it once and it blows up. And
She's amazing.
as long as we can
You-
get her to
If
an
you run
enemy.
into Medora, you have to have her in your party. My second party member that I recruited is a ranger. She uses a crossbow or a bow.
She was
and
like
I
a
really like
nature
her.
thing.
Yeah, she's like, she has a Scottish accent. She's literally like Merida from Brave, and she's like a wild child. But,
There's other
like,
people.
She's
well,
really good too.
We didn't even encounter him. Like there was a mute guy who didn't talk, but we just wanted all females in our group. So
Yeah.
the mute guy just. There's a place where you can like go and like everyone you meet. They
The
actually,
Hall of Heroes.
We don't want to spoil anything for you, but you can eventually like change out people like. If you but we didn't meet too many people. I wonder how many
I know.
different NPCs you can.
We didn't talk to everyone
No,
though.
we kind of eventually you just start skipping the dialogue.
Someone in the chat last night when we were streaming it was like, "Oh, I played this through with my friend, and we got into fights and got caught stealing in like every town we visited, and we just like
It's a
demolished.
genocide run.
We wiped everyone out in the game.
You can, yeah. And then you'll have quests you can't finish except for the main ones. 'Cause, yeah.
That's one way to play.
There's a lot. It's a big game. I like games like that. I wish there were more like that.
I can see
Yeah.
why you like it. The combat's pretty satisfying.
Plus, it's not a like it's very like you can get up and go. It's not like you have to be there playing. Like
Yeah.
the turn-based stuff is nice.
I played I played just a little bit of number 2 with my friend Lauren. It was just too complicated to. We're just dying left and right in that one. You just cannot. I maybe it was.
You probably
because-
need the knowledge of this
That was the
one.
first one, yeah.
It's
first.
yeah. I don't
It's
know.
hard to get into.
She was kind of like not really, like staying together, and I was like, here's the crocodiles we have to kill, and where are you? I'm dead now.
Yeah,
one hit by crocodiles.
We like split off sometimes to explore.
Well,
and
sometimes
cover a map
they
and-
you need to like. Sometimes it's like, oh, I need to go over here and push this button while you go over there and push that
Yeah.
button. And
And then-
there's a lot. And then eventually, I mean, in the game, you eventually get these little pyramid things, and you have
Oh, so nice.
two and then you can always teleport to the other person, and you can even throw them and then get onto that person's controller, so everyone's controlling there, and then they teleport the whole party to that pyramid.
I think it's definitely better playing like with someone right next to you. But we can continue our game.
Yeah.
What is it like? Up to 4 players? Like
the second one's gonna be 4 players, but the first one's only 2 players.
First one's
could
only
we
2.
actually join their game or?
No,
if
not
they were
in
playing?
Not in the first one.
I know there's mods,
Yeah.
but apparently it breaks the game.
So in the second one, we have to do like a 4-player.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
It'd be
but yeah,
fun.
it's definitely because we've played with your laptop when you're at your house and I'm here
Yeah.
too. And as long as the host, whoever hosts is that's their game. Anyone who joins, they don't really get anything from it other than the achievements. Like they just take control of whoever the host assigns to them.
But we can continue with our characters even if we're far away. But
Yeah.
but he has to own the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, that's probably a given, but yeah.
But it's like
Yeah, I was
there's no
able-
save data on except for the options
Right.
and the settings.
No, yeah,
on
I
your
was able to
accounts.
just like hop on my laptop at home in bed and join your game, and then I was able to control my character that I created.
So basically you have to think about it like it's only one player's game, and then anyone who joins, even co-op, is just borrowing.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And I mean that's the way it because some people are like, how come I go and play my single player game and I don't have the character I made? I'm like, well, that's because it's whoever the host is, that's their character.
Yeah.
But I mean it makes sense though
the
because
character I
the
created
world's consistent.
was created in your game.
So if I go play single player, I have access to all 4 of those characters, including
Yeah.
the one she created.
That makes sense. It's the best.
Well, yeah,
way.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it because we played on. We weren't doing split screen last night. We
used 2 screens.
2 screens because I have 2 computers there, and then but split screen's nice too. Are you doing split screen?
We did split screen. It was fun. It was,
Mhm.
Do you force a split screen, right? So it's down the middle because we don't really like it.
Yeah.
When it's like when it.
Well, we
breaks
we
it.
didn't mess with that, but yeah, we try to stick together as much
Yeah,
as
I
we
mean,
could.
it might be better with 2.
I think the force between because it requires you to rotate the camera sometimes to see a few
Yeah.
things. So and then when it comes back to split screen, it like goes to the default
At
angle.
first, we were doing the non-forced split screen, so
Yeah.
it's like if we come together, it just
There's a
you
Lego
know,
game where it tries to put it on one screen, but then you can't rotate.
Yeah,
but if you press the
Yeah.
left or right digital pad, it
Right.
locks it, so it
Yeah.
always is.
But
It's
that may be
better.
why we kept on jumping at poison stuff because when the split screen, it rotated to the default angle and then we couldn't see where we were going. Sometimes,
yeah, I
so.
like being able to move my camera wherever I want.
Yeah,
so the
so-
forced split screen is
Maybe
the way
we'll
to
try,
go.
I think you can.
Uh,
I think you can turn it. You can also turn it off and on in the
Yeah.
options.
It-
But
it
there's
was-
a quick.
It was
turn
nice
off
to have you like right next to me though, but then again, I do have a second computer. We could
Yeah.
just
We could do that too if it comes down to it, but
might be a little less
What's the other
frustrating than
thing?
some of those.
The right stick. The right stick will pop up names of items like if they're on the
Yeah.
floor, which is nice because you turn it off in battle and then.
yeah, that feature's cool. That's cool. The only gripe, I mean, maybe it was because we're tired. We just because Bunny died and I had to go find the scroll and go into town, and we weren't that far, so we didn't really know where to go.
Mm.
Just the movement speed's a bit slow, but I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the only thing. But
I'm constantly casting haste on myself when
Yeah.
I'm like.
that's the only thing. But I think that's just kind of an atmospheric thing.
Yeah, I mean, the slow pace of the game is why we have 60 some odd hours in it right now. It's
Yeah.
because-
Yeah.
It's because it's the minute you have like you finish a dungeon or something and you collect a bunch of cool stuff and you identify them all with whoever's your lore master in the group. That's another thing you put points. Otherwise, you go back to town. You spend time like usually I start with all the equipment and then I divide it all up with like, oh, here's this is something that this character might be able to use, and then that is, I don't know if you like loot managing, it's definitely stuff like that, like, oh, I have this, and
It was cool. We were like picking up stuff and like, oh, you can have this.
Yeah,
I'll have this.
The quick send to character is really fun. You don't have to
Yeah.
like interact with them at all. You just say
Mm.
send to this character.
and there's
Just-
magic potions
Yeah.
too, which I
This-
guess
Oh yeah.
is for like quest items. Like if someone picked up that key and they're on the other side of the map, and you try to use the door, it's like,
So-and-so.
Wizarda, grab the golden key from what's your character? An Andromeda's
Andromeda using magic pockets.
Like you reach in your pocket, it goes in your pocket.
Yeah.
But I like this stuff because it invokes the same feeling of like when you play Dungeons and Dragons. Like everything in the game, like when you're, because there's stuff that has nothing to do with like combat, and it's like there's a gas trap and it's releasing gas. Let's throw this barrel on top of it, and now and that happens all the time.
Working out how to move some stuff was kind of
Yeah.
clunky in the beginning. Like
We found these like buttons on the floor that were like they had to have a certain amount of weight on
Yeah,
them to
we
open a
encountered
door.
those too.
And there were like no barrels around, so we were like looking through our inventory trying to find the
Here's an
heaviest
apple.
armor we
Let's
could
just
find.
put an apple on top
Yeah,
of that
and it
armor,
was
and we
like,
had like this.
oh. oh, it's at 96%. Here, put an apple on
There's
top.
a dungeon where you have to get it like exactly the right weight on these things, and I mean, but that's like making use of like
fun and
because in
silly.
dungeon that's the only thing you could do. You couldn't do that in any other game. It would
Yeah.
be like, oh, why am I
There's
being
like a
stopped?
stack
to-
of random items on this button trying to get the right weight.
It's too bad. It's too bad. What's really appealing about the second one is that you can be all these different races,
yeah.
and
I
the lizard
wanna,
people are
I want to
great.
be the dragon lady. The,
Oh my
gosh.
The really tall lizard lady.
There's because I want to be
it's really
undead
cool.
because that was one of their
Kickstarter.
yeah.
goals or whatever. But the I chose like the best lizard lady head, which was just the chameleon head, and it just looks like a chameleon head superimposed on.
Doesn't one head?
Woman's
One's
body.
like feathery. I want the
Yeah.
feathery dragon head.
They're
No,
really
It's
I
cool.
really
mean,
cool.
Some people are if you look at any of the forums, some people complain like, "What happened to the great art style from the first one?" And I'm like,
What?
"This is way more interesting than
Yeah.
generic fantasy stuff."
Yeah, like they had showing some concept art of like some sea creatures and stuff. They were just
No,
amazing
everything
looking.
looks
I
great.
love it. The elves look really
Yeah,
alien.
they have like
They do,
24
yeah.
packs.
and
I know.
they're just
Yeah, they have,
they,
like,
they
so
look
many-
like the Na'vi from Avatar.
Yeah.
They're very skinny and have weird proportions,
I think
and I like
I
that
think I'll play as one of those
because
like,
they look like a different species.
I can't wait to see the undead.
but it looks nice,
Yeah.
and that you can because you zoom in the first one, it's like obviously it shows its age, but they redid the graphics a little bit for the enhanced, and like when you zoom in with the second one, it's like there's so much detail. Like
We just made in the first one. We just made both of our characters like
Stark white.
stark white with white hair.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you can't really play local co-op though on the second one yet, can you?
We haven't tried.
I've not tried.
So but
I played online co-op.
so
On
did
the
you play
second one.
together or?
I played with another person.
Oh,
on the
so when
second
you
one.
corrected because you only make one character, right? When you're yourself, and every other character makes their own character. Everyone who joins your game creates their own
Yeah.
character.
In the second one, it was online. It was like they created their own.
It's a little different than the first.
I don't know if there was
Okay.
local co-op on the second one yet.
I don't think so. There's land. I know there's land, so you can play in that. But local co-op is technically land. So what they mean is split screen. There's no split screen. Like,
Well, the second one's only like one act right now. And
so how
it's-
did you
Yeah.
create a character?
Well, we played the first one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, we played the first one, but I haven't even touched the second one yet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll try it for.
But yeah, I mean, it's
Shits
only
and gigs.
25% done according to folks, and I mean, they're constantly like changing stuff. But I mean,
It looks really nice.
It's like, I don't-
everything looks.
even if it comes out this, I mean, I don't know if we'll. I mean, I'm using the Steam controller with it, and it's playable with it, but it's still kind of. And of course, you can assign an Xbox controller to anything now.
You know what's great about For Honor? Just that it
Back
recognizes.
to For Honor.
I'm just saying it recognizes that it's a PS4 controller,
Oh.
and you can just switch over
Oh,
from
yeah,
keyboard, and it just
Yeah, I don't
changes
think-
everything.
I don't even think it needs DS4. I think it just. Well,
yeah, well.
No, yeah.
we
You know, Sony just released their Bluetooth dongle.
Yeah.
I have one of those, and it works
Yeah.
for games
Really?
that use PS4 stuff.
That's
Yeah.
nice. But I mean, the only thing that we need DS4 on our systems is to supply the power to the PS4
Mhm.
controller, just because of how yours work. But
I just switched
It's
over to
really
Xbox One controllers.
yeah,
'Cause the Elite controller is actually pretty nice, but I don't like the stick placement, but I got used to it, and Chelsea's forced to get used to it too.
Yeah, I still have those moments when I don't remember and I have to look down at the controller like a grandpa playing a video game. I'm like, which one's
It's
Y
X,
again?
Which X
Wait.
is usually
Yeah.
You're like press X, and
X is
I
X,
press A because that's where X,
X is
is. I'm
square.
Like, damn it. Yeah, I've never played Xbox, so I don't know that.
I haven't either. I got tired of the Bluetooth disconnecting. and-
but you play more PC games where you use an Xbox controller, so like.
Well, it's more universal,
remembered it more,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Because I do like the DualShock where it like because I bought one of those custom ones with the Xbox buttons on a DualShock one, and it works, but it's still the connection and.
I've
so I
gotten
wanna-
better,
yeah.
but I screwed up for the two of us a lot in battle because I'd press the wrong buttons and stuff.
Yeah. But I do, yeah. It does. I like the games that. And wait, even on Divinity, you can actually change it in the option menu. You can change it to be like.
Oh,
So if you want to see the Xbox controls, you can do that even if you're playing something else.
that's cool.
So, anyways,
You
so
sound
we
good.
talked a lot about video games.
Well, we've been. I think I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like when we're like working. Me anyways. Like the more I work, the more I kind of enjoy video games. Like
Yeah.
Because it's a reward.
right. and
When
it's-
you're not working,
I feel like I
feel
don't want
guilty.
to play.
Like, there's no fun in it. I don't know. Like, I get bored faster, and I feel like I should be doing something else.
Well, I mean, yesterday we went hiking like in the morning, and we did an hour hike, and then we were tired, and then we spent 8 hours playing video games.
We did something similar. Yeah.
yeah.
And today I'm doing this, and hopefully maybe we'll finish Divinity tonight.
Yeah.
But then come Monday, I got to go back to merchandise
to the
stuff, and all
grind.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday through Saturday or something. It's
There's
probably
a
More
lot,
work.
lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
What games are coming out that you guys are looking forward to? I know for me, like the new Mass Effect is high on
that's
the
in
list.
March 20 something, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
never
a way.
played the Mass Effect games, so I'm sure I'll play this one, but I'm not like super excited or hyped for it yet.
I've liked all of them. So if they're similar to those, great. If they and I know they already have new features, so it'll probably be good.
Yeah.
What's coming sooner? There's Horizon in February.
Horizon is like new IP or whatever.
That's
So
a PS4.
The end of February.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for reviews on that one because
Me
it
too.
looks really good, but
It's coming out at the same time as
We
Zelda
don't.
2, I think.
Zelda is coming. in
Zelda's
March,
like a
right?
week later.
It's also in March. Should
Shipping
premiere
with
with Switch.
Yeah.
So
It's
it
March
goes Horizon
3rd.
and then next week it's the
So
Switch.
it's March 3rd. Yeah.
I still don't know if it has a date. It probably does, but I don't like keep up with the news obsessively. But I'm really excited for the remaster of Final Fantasy 12 because
Yeah.
that's the only Final Fantasy game I've played all the way through and that I like. So
Yeah, the art style definitely looks different than the others. So
it's a lot different.
I might pick. I pick up a lot of games, but I might pick that.
I'm ready
Hmm.
to lose many hours to replaying that because that's one of my favorite video games.
I just bought Yakuza 0. That one's pretty nice. It's like hours of cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's you know how when you watch an anime or you play a Japanese game, all the characters are so over the top and
Yeah. Yakuza's always real campy.
but it's not as campy as those.
Yeah.
Because when I play like some of the, I don't know what they're called, but it's like the people feel real, even though it is like it feels like you're watching like an actual TV series rather than watching an anime. Because like all the voices like sound like real people, even though it's in Japanese. Like, but anyways, I'm playing that. The gameplay is kind of weird because
it's
the gameplay
because they're like real. They're supposed to be real people and not cartoon characters.
yeah, because the females aren't. I mean, yeah, they're not like stereotype types. I mean, if you watch any anime that's like with cartoons, like
really,
it's very like I don't know.
Shrill.
Yeah, and in playing a Japanese game that's like supposed to be realistic. I mean, even though it's kind of over the top a little, it feels refreshing.
yeah.
And I see what the appeal of Yakuza is now because it didn't feel like a game for me. Like the gameplay's just like this arcadey brawler, and how's that fun? And I'm like, well, that's only part of the game. The rest of the game is this very intriguing story, and it's well
Yeah, it's
written,
like
even though
half
it's in
of
a
it is
different language.
watching cutscenes, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm already drawn in. Like
Yeah.
I want to finish it now, even though when you watch trailers, you're like, okay, whatever. But I think it's the same effect of that Metal Gear had a little bit, except Metal Gear's a little more cinematic. But yeah, that one's good. And what else? I picked up Tales of Berseria, which is a Tales game, which is another pretty Japanesey stuff. That one's tough, but it's all fully voiced over, and some of their cutscenes are actually animated.
Voiced over, because I know your biggest complaint with a lot of Japanese games is that there's a lot of text.
Well,
They don't do a lot of.
Yeah, and some RPGs, it's just you're reading for most of it, and that was fine back in the day, right? But it's even if you're reading, it's still nice to hear like the actual like. Because I'm not talking about subtitles. I'm talking about like games that don't even have any voiceover in any language.
Yeah.
Because like.
And it's just like a text bubble, and you have to read all the dialogue.
Because something like Yakuza, it's like, well, you're hearing them talk, so you get the gist of how they're saying stuff as you're reading. And it's because if you've watched like subbed, like foreign films, even animes and stuff, that the original voices are the best. Because then you see it. Yeah. Some video games it's hard.
Square Enix seems to do a decent job. Well, at least the Final Fantasy series is not terrible.
No, it seems like the voices seem similar.
Yeah, enough.
From regions, sort of.
They're both like if you have an annoying character, it's usually annoying in both.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing the newest Final Fantasy, the pistol guy. He's just has the
Prompto, yeah.
Yeah, he has a very high voice, and says a bunch of stupid stuff, and everyone says he's stupid. And it's just he's stupid, and yeah, he can't change that.
But that's
like
someone's
he's the comic relief,
bae or whatever.
but it's
they say.
not.
Guess I don't know.
Oh God.
I like the British guy. He's cool. He's suave, and the guy who cooks is nice.
Well, let's see
Wait,
what happens.
isn't the
Let's
British
see.
guy the guy?
I'm not. I didn't
Wait,
say that. I was
thought-
joking.
I thought the
joking.
British guy was the guy who cooks.
Maybe.
I think.
The British guy is the one that cooks.
Oh, okay. It is. Yes. I like him and the guy with the two-handed, but I don't like what's his name? Prompto. His voice is just a little too over the top.
photographer?
Yeah, I don't like him. Maybe
He sounds like a cartoon character.
He sounds like a cartoon character, and everyone else sounds like a person.
A character in a game starts sounding like a cartoon character.
I was
That's when
okay
it loses
by
me.
the end of the story. Like all of them get their a little bit of. There's not too much character development, but there's enough that you feel a little bit towards the end.
So why so my dad is Sean Bean.
Yeah, have you watched that yet?
I've watched like a little bit of it. I haven't gotten through it all. But I'm Asian, so what is like? Because the dad doesn't look.
I mean, Final Fantasy is kind of.
I mean, I guess everyone kind of looks Asian-y ish.
But
Like,
it's
It's
a fantasy
that girl
world.
has a country accent.
yeah, but she kind of looks American-ish.
Mm.
Whereas,
Which
or
one?
what's the
The
who's
jumpsuit?
The
Booby
mechanic.
McGee?
Yeah.
Booby McGee.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the game. That's what we call her. What's the main character's name?
Noct.
Titus? I don't.
Noctis.
What?
Noctis.
Noctis. Because it's weird. Because like that all the boys, they're all, they all have like a similar, like very gorgeous like
Boy
soft
band?
like bedroom eyes
Yeah.
and like hair that just won't quit. And you can't really, even though they have different accents, like they all look like they're Asian, but they're not. Their skin color doesn't match up. I'm not used to seeing that in such a realistic looking
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It's a pretty weird
that's a
anomaly.
Final Fantasy hallmark, isn't it? Oh, that's
But
just
yeah.
but I mean,
how
even
their
the main women character, like she looks more English, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I've seen a bit of her.
You haven't yet got too much in the story, but yeah, but it seems like
but then
most of
in Kingsglaive the movie, like it didn't suffer from that at all.
It's kind of weird. Like no one looks like those.
Everyone in there looked like they actually came from a real place or something. Like, okay, that guy's might be, like a different ethnic background. Like, but the main characters, I don't know what the heck's going on. Like, I
think it's something where they're the exception to the rule because
I think mostly
yeah.
it's the hair and that's how pretty they look. It's like, I mean, I guess everyone kind of has that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But that's why it's interesting to look at because you're like, this is a realistic setting, and am I in Arizona? But here's a giant dragon. Here's a demon.
I always think it's funny when a character with a really short, like 2-syllable name, his friends like call him by an even shorter nickname. Like Noctis is already a really short name, and all his friends call him Noct. Hey Noct. Hey Noct. And I'm like, is Noctis really that long of a name?
Why isn't Prompto called Prompt?
I'm trying to think of like real life 2-syllable names that have.
I mean, Bob. I mean,
yeah,
that's not.
I guess.
Bah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but
no,
Bob's
like Robert.
Robert's only 2 syllables, but they call him Bob.
You're right.
I don't know.
I just find it silly that like they have to shorten Noctis. But I guess it's like I don't know. It's supposed to be endearing.
I tried to take my car off road, and when I discovered that I wasn't really driving, I was like, well, what's the point?
I mean, I kind of like that though because if it kind of makes
It's kind of like Witcher, right?
it makes the chocobos. At Witcher you can go off the trails if you want to.
You can do whatever. You can fly off the mountain.
It's just that your horse will stick to a trail if you're not really controlling it. But it kind of makes the chocobos worthwhile because if the car is stuck to the road, then there's a reason to use a chocobo.
I'm guessing Hammerhead isn't the place to get the chocobos. The first stop,
Yeah,
maybe the second one.
Oh, you'll know when you can go to it. I didn't do it. I was like, I'll continue with the story. But
I want chocobos.
You should go do the chocobos.
I've been doing the
immediately.
hunting stuff, just like literally. I was like, all right, now we're gonna go drive out to do the hunting quests, and I literally drove right back because I was like, wait, all the hunting stuff is just like right next to the diner, and I thought it was like we're gonna have to travel. It looked on the map, it looked like it was far away, but and then they said, oh, we should like stock up after. Every time I'd go around in a circle and make that mistake, they'd all say like, well, I guess we'll go inside and stock up on.
I think I have to say, because I've seen a lot of chocobos from the different games, and Camille agrees, and she's played like all the Final Fantasies. I think 15 has the cutest chocobos.
I do like them.
I
in
haven't
this
seen
one.
them yet.
Their design is really adorable.
And once you get one, you gotta take it on water. That's
I'm pretty impressed with the game. Like, I didn't think I would be. I don't know. I mean, it's so different. I just like the setting is so cool.
The story's it feels a little like they cut some stuff where they didn't finish stuff, but I feel like it's packaged enough that it's a complete experience, and the gameplay is nice by itself. But you don't necessarily I started doing all the side quests and stuff, but you can literally stop that after you outlevel some of the main quests. Like, I literally didn't do any side quests all the way up to the end, and I struggle a little bit because I literally would not do any side quests. I was like, no. But because I did so many in the beginning, and then, but some people like do. I mean, you can stretch. I still have a bunch of side quests to do, but I'm waiting for that elusive 60 frames per second patch for the PS4 Pro.
Yeah, that's because I was like seeing the differences, and it looks too good on the high settings. Like, it's all nice and soft and smooth, but then you take it off, it's all like jagged and.
Yeah, I played on this. But I didn't like the frame rate. It wasn't even just the frame rate was lower on the high pro setting. It's that there's the frames skip sometimes too, so it's not a consistent.
Yeah.
It's not a consistent 29 frames a second or 25. Or
It
whatever
is.
it is.
The more I play like 60 frames, it's hard to go back. Like, I didn't think I would notice.
I had to trick myself to get in that one. Like, and then when I played a 60 frames game, I'm like, what? But it sucks because
when it comes out to PC, it's gonna look amazing, but I'm not gonna get it there
because I did the Choco Moogle Festival stuff, and
how's that? Is it as dumb as it looks?
there's not much to do. There's not much really to do in it. It seems like it's just a fun thing. It's not a. It definitely feels a little slapped together. Like, there's they don't have lip syncing for some of the stuff, which is kind of weird. But it's really. It's just for fun. Like, because it's not something to, unless you can get some funny costumes if you want to see Noct in a sombrero for your main game. You can totally get that. You can actually buy some of the pre-order bonuses. Like, he has like a nice suit that you can buy for like 49 cents.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
So like, I went and got all the stuff that I didn't get because I didn't get the physical version. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll get that. Mike, the car. Have you ever messed around with because I made a red and black one, but I literally I made a red car and then I put black decals on it to make it look like it had red stripes.
Oh, I didn't mess around. I don't think the first stop has that many customization options, but I was like, yep, black car, good to go.
Anywho, well, we talked about video game. What we should talk about what the name of this thing's gonna be.
Well, we still have about 40 minutes if we're gonna go to 2:30.
Wait, did we start at 12? When did we start?
We started around 12:30.
12:30. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got about 40 minutes to go.
Well,
let's start thinking about that name for this.
what about Alex's?
We're not done yet.
Alex is kind of well traveled. Do you have any like stories maybe?
I mean,
where you're a guest.
I suppose so. I mean, I know we have Engineer-eteers watching us, so if they have anything specific, but
yeah.
Little backstory while they're listening. I spent about 3.5 years out in the Pacific region of the world. I lived in Japan. Well, I lived in Okinawa, and that's a whole different story. I live in Okinawa, which belongs to Japan, but they don't necessarily believe. A lot of them don't believe that they're Japanese, and they're different in the city. So they have a lot of it's a lot of parallels to Hawaii. Have the quote unquote ethnic population doesn't believe themselves.
Do they
to be
refer
Japanese.
to themselves as Okinawans?
They refer themselves to as Okinawans.
Okay.
Now I'll preface with this: everything I'm saying about my travels is just firsthand knowledge. So those of you who like to fact check, I mean, you may find different things, but from the people I've met, there's just a lot of cultural things that are different. Okinawans are a bit less prioritized, I should say, and their vanity, their values of vanity are a bit different. Okinawans don't mind being brown because that's just what they are. They're island people. It's an island. But many travelers from Japan, they don't enjoy sunlight, things of that nature, because they value that kind of porcelain skin type thing. But
yeah. If I recall correctly, the whole, being pale as a status symbol is because, people who didn't have a tan didn't have to work in the fields.
You didn't work outside, and it
that's where that beauty standard comes from.
There's a lot of so here in the States, a lot of people try to avoid looking kind of oily, kind of shiny, but there's actually a lot of popular Japanese cosmetics that make your skin, I don't know, glow is the right word? They literally shine. Like, it looks like you have like castor oil on you. I don't know. It's just different cultures. But I spent a long time. The longest amount of time I spent outside of Japan was in South Korea, which I'm a big fan of.
Nice.
Philippines, Thailand, things like that. But Korea's a cool place. But yeah, if they have anything to ask about that. But it was nice. Coming back to the States was kind of weird. So I left the States in 2013? Yeah. No, 2012. I left the States in 2012 and came back last year. So I'm getting used to it. But yeah, so I was out there And to save money, I didn't get like a smartphone or anything. I got a little flip phone through SoftBank, which owns Sprint now, as far as I know. But I wasn't really connected to the internet, so I'm getting used to this whole online presence thing, which I don't really have. So
Well, we pretty much
That
only
could
have
be a
it
good thing.
because it's like a band, you know, like that's how people consume it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know if I personally would. I never did much on Facebook before, or
So
MySpace, I guess, was
yeah.
back in the day.
So you spent time in Okinawa, Japan, and South Korea?
well, I spent it's hard for me to say I
not a
spent a
lot.
lot of time in Japan. I didn't spend that much time in mainland Japan.
Right.
I spent the most of my time was in Okinawa,
Right.
the island of Okinawa, and then South Korea. And every time I went to South Korea, I always took the opportunity to take a train to Seoul, the capital, the third largest city in Asia, as far as I know. Last I checked, and did a few fun things out there. I actually saw when The Hobbit premiered. I actually saw that in Suwon, South Korea. I saw it in Asia's largest IMAX. It was pretty nice. And it was really great for us because it came out on the same day that it came out internationally. So all it was just The Hobbit on IMAX screen with Korean subtitles. So we didn't even have to pay attention to the subtitles. So
Yeah.
it was nice.
Cool.
And then
Yeah, I've asked the chat room to, feel free to
yeah,
throw out any questions.
yeah. But I've enjoyed myself out there. I mean, kind of incidentally, I have somewhat of an quote-unquote advantage over there. I can just kind of blend in with the population at times.
Sure.
I don't know. There's a lot of cool things I miss about the place. I mean, leaving the country for that long and coming back just made me appreciate this country a lot more. There's a lot of
Mhm.
things that are just granted here that aren't in other places.
Right.
I've been to some of the worst parts of the Philippines, and there's some merits, but nothing is really for granted there. You know, those kind of cliche things that you may see where there's like an old lady and she has like a herd of children that are pickpocketing people. That's just how that's just like the status quo.
Oh wow.
The fraternal delinquency is just huge over there. Like almost none of the children over there have fathers, things of that nature. But it kind of there's some cool stuff. So one of the cool things I found over there was we met some people out there who wanted to just hang out. And so their homes, they don't really have much in their homes. They just have like a bed, a kitchen, blah, blah, blah. But what they do have is they have these entertainment centers where you go in, and what you do is you rent a room. And in that room, there's like an Xbox and like a PlayStation and a karaoke machine and like a DVD player. And, all the stuff that a lot of people here just have in their homes, they just kind of rent out. It's just kind of cool to go out and do that. So we did like some karaoke, we played some Xbox games. So there's some cool stuff over there. But that was in the Philippines. But that's just a victim of their circumstance. When it comes to South Korea, it's a lot like I've heard it being compared to like Judge Dredd. It's kind of like the future but dirtier.
Like the Dread 3D,
Dread.
the new one.
Yeah, well, kind of both. Like in like kind of dirty
Okay.
future type thing. So circumstantially, South Korea, the Korean War, which is technically still going right now,
Yeah.
reached armistice status back in the 60s. If you look at the maps of how far quote-unquote North Korea went before the United States intervention, they pretty much leveled the entire peninsula except for a very small portion of the southern tip. And then we intervened, and we ended up at that halfway line, and that's where we are today. So because of that, they had to rebuild an entire country in the 60s, which was advantageous for them. So everything they have is quote-unquote new technology. They're the most technologically advanced major country in the world. When I was there, they had countrywide 5G. So this is back in 2012. So countrywide 5G. Seoul has multiple citywide wireless.
Wow.
And you can go like 200 miles an hour on a bullet train and just have connection. And because of that, their phone. So Chelsea's phone's kind of big. Big. Most of their phones, some of their phones are like 7-8 inches.
Basically
pretty much
tablets.
and they watch like full 1080p and now 4K TV where they are all day. They just watch TV all day. Most of the phones come with TV antennas, and they actually connect to a TV network. So their network infrastructure is really nice.
Yeah.
For me personally, just how I like to do things, I like the lifestyle over there. So because the whole country just kind of decimated, when they built, they didn't go back to that traditional like suburby kind of apartments and houses and townhomes things. Everybody lives in towers, so pretty much condos and apartments. And in those towers, for the working class at least, most of the towers in your home, you have pretty much a bed and a bathroom, and then if you're really extravagant, you may have a kitchen. But it is not strange to eat out all 3 meals of the day. So what that does is that makes all the restaurants really cheap to eat at. You can have like a
Right.
3-course meal for like, well, let's say like 1,600 won, which might be like $11. For me, I spent like $5 there, and it's not uncommon to do that.
Yeah.
And then for people like us, the video game culture over there is insane.
Yeah.
When I was going through a couple malls, they were watching like League of Legends and StarCraft 2 and a couple other MOBAs. It was on TV screens. Like if you were walking through a bar, they would show that instead of football. Like that's something that they value. Is
I mean, I don't care about Dota or League of Legends or StarCraft, but I think that would still make me happier than seeing
football
big
on all
muscular
the
men in tight pants run around and slap each other on. But I think that's how sports work.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying that's
I mean, that's
people shouldn't see that, but
that's America's most popular sport, the butt slap
Yeah.
game.
I mean, it's fine if you like sports, whatever. It's
But-
just I'm just joking.
I thought it was
around.
interesting and fun that I mean they have TV networks and broadcasters dedicated to that, and some of those, I mean it's sometimes it's a bit extravagant, but some of the really high skilled players are pretty much treated like celebrities, which is nice. I mean it's just cool to look at. So that whole portion is fun.
Does all their like cable stuff for like internet?
They're
is
pretty
that
much
like
all fiber mostly. Well, so okay, so
why?
this is something that I see a lot.
Why
So
can't we get that?
well, we can. No, so this is just kind of a tangential thing. But so we have perfect 2 comparisons right here. We have the United States of America and we have South Korea. South Korea pretty much got destroyed about 50 years ago, right? So when they built, what they had was the newest technology at the time. So they had the option to use the newest technology. We made the internet. So we installed, we're pretty much power lines at first, then cable lines and so forth. Because we made it first, we have the oldest technology, and it's harder for us to upgrade. So
I
mean,
have a
there-
DSL line in my
Yeah.
house, and that's all I
I
can.
mean, I have
get.
cable here, and I should be able to get 300 megabits a second, but I kind of get 200.
Yeah.
So
that's similar
it's
to me.
just the quality.
yeah,
of the
most
stuff,
of the So by the time, so again, South Korea started off from like a blank slate.
Yeah.
So when we started the internet, we had 300 years of infrastructure and just things to deal with. I mean, there was a point in time when the internet was going across the power lines.
No, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were our first, Buddy and I were blessed with having the internet at a very young age. I don't know if that's a blessed, but our first modem was 14K. Like, that's not like most people's modems when they first got them back then was 56K, but our first modem 14K, which is like that's like you see a picture on Reddit that's way bigger than that. Like you can't. It would take you an hour to download.
And
a GIF.
forget about making any phone calls or getting any important calls while you're.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember in the early days of like, back probably like the tail end of the dial-up days, when I'd like want to watch a movie trailer or something, it would literally take like 5 hours to load the trailer, and you'd like watch it frame by frame and get really excited about like, ooh, what's that?
I just even though I felt I was really impatient as a kid, I'm way more impatient now. When it doesn't load like instantaneous, I'm like, what's going on?
We're really spoiled. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
The content's also grown exponentially. So
Again, so yeah, just be wary. Those of you who are buying internet packages, you may have like a fiber line connected to your residence, but a lot of the underlying infrastructure is still coaxial cable, just kind of copper that can't handle those speeds.
And I mean, it's all based on what the servers you're connecting to. Like,
Yeah.
even though you might have fast internet, the place you're trying to download the data from or upload is.
They did a survey recently, which I was really excited about installing that. I was like, yes, I
Well,
want it, yes.
I mean, like, I'm with Cox Cable here, and you don't have Cox Cable where you live, but I'm East County enough that I have it, and you don't even have Cox Cable. And that's
Yeah.
the best internet I think right now in San Diego, because I don't know anyone else who gets 300 megabits a second.
I'm well, I won't say exactly where I am in San Diego, but the only internet I have access to where I am is Time Warner, and it sucks.
Oh, it's
ass.
terrible. I mean, in the comparisons, it's like
so
you're paying
bad.
the same as I am, and I'm getting loads more
Yeah.
speeds.
Yeah.
And the same with you as well, unfortunately. But Google Fiber, it has an interest in San Diego, and of course they first said, there's so many hills, we're never going to install it, but they will eventually. But Cox is already starting to invest in fiber too, so because I don't stay up to date with politics too much, but there was some type of thing to push the companies. Basically, there's incentive for companies to redo their infrastructures because they will save money or something like that. I don't know if they get grants or something, but something along those lines is implemented. So, they're trying to push, the auto industry and as well as telecommunication industry to be ahead of its class. Because otherwise, without competition, there's no reason.
Yeah.
But Google Fiber is a good competition. Like that's why Cox Cable and stuff and Time Warner have to look at fiber.
Yeah. I mean, and again, if people knew so in Japan, you could pay $20 a month and you would get 4 gigs, like 4 gigabits per second, and it would be just no big deal to them. It was just how it is, and they rebuilt earlier than South Korea did, but. Yeah, it's a cool place. I was in South Korea. I was in Yeomusan when the Diablo 3 Reaper Souls came out, and there was like a huge festival. They had a stage. I have some pictures somewhere, but they actually had a stage lit up, and none of that would really happen over here.
Yeah.
No, we need to. You have to go to a Fry's Electronics, and you might see a couple developers there in the corner.
They actually blocked up the streets, and they had a festival and things like that.
Like that would make me happy because
you would go outside and
I would.
partake in an event, probably.
I don't know. I like video games, and I don't see anything wrong with them because obviously I get my work done, and I can't play all the video games. But who cares if someone wants to waste their life on video games? I don't know. Maybe it's just the culture
what makes
here.
you happy.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cool place to be. The culture over there is a bit different, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, if they have any questions about that. But I enjoyed my time over there. But again, I will say, being over here, being back in the States, being out there made me appreciate what we have over here.
You would take slow internet over?
I would take, yeah.
I mean, that's a hard question to ask, but
I guess it's more about the big picture.
It's about the big picture and how things are. I mean, so like Okinawa, even though the Okinawans are pretty pleasant people, but there are a few things out there. There's a lot of I don't want to say there's xenophobes, but there's places all over Japan itself that they don't really like outsiders. They call them gaijin. It kind of comes into it. I
definitely
got away with a lot of places I would go if I was familiar enough. Either they knew me or I just would not say anything or point to stuff and it didn't bother me or whatever. But there's some places, but there's a lot of history behind that about why and things of that nature. In South Korea didn't really have much of a problem, but culturally they're very different. Technically right now South Korea and the United States technically are still at war with North Korea. The armistice is an armistice. It's not no peace is
it wasn't.
They're still technically at a state of war.
It was a truce.
It was something of that nature.
It was like a ceasefire.
It's a ceasefire.
It wasn't like they made peace.
No, they made peace. The war is technically not over, so they're both on alert. I don't want to say ironically, but the Korean culture since the South Korean culture, I say, since the rebuild has changed a bit, and I can pretty much use anecdotes to kind of list this out. So they they have no opposition to being public, being really open about sexuality or being passionate, or I don't even want to call it femininity, because at least in the younger spectrum of ages, it is very promoted for men to wear makeup and get their hair done and wear nice clothes. There's a lot of unisex clothing stores over there, a lot of them. And so being pretty and kind of less, I don't say masculine, but less aggressive is what is more accepted over there. Yeah. And then violence is really kind of looked down upon. So again, anecdotes illustrate this. I was watching South Korean TV one day. We woke up real early and it was like 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. they kind of play the kind of like B cartoons or whatever. So they had a cartoon where the skit was there was a lady and she was completely nude. She was a lady on an island, and the island had a lot of kind of phallic objects on it. And she was on a deserted island, and to survive, she would pleasure them, and then they would give her food. And then there was a sign on there at the beginning that said "die," and then at the end of it, she got fat, and when she tried to pleasure the objects, she stopped getting food, and then she'd like a tree fell down or whatever, and it said "diet." Like it was like the joke, but they weren't. There was no opposition.
Was this a kids' cartoon?
I think it was. I don't know. It was on that kind of preschool, the before school block or whatever. But during that time, that was when. This was like 2012, so that was when that movie Immortals came out on like TV. Well, it came out on DVD, so it was available to be on TV. But we tried to watch it, but all the scenes where the action scenes were just cut out. Like they didn't
I'm trying to remember
want the violence.
which movie that
So that's the one about the.
It's like pseudo Greek mythology, but.
Oh, okay.
wrong.
but
but-
so
Yeah.
wrong and so.
It probably
yeah.
like tanked here, and that's why I can't remember it.
It was
But
bad.
for the
They
so
cut out all the violent scenes.
yeah, so there's a scene where the gods intervene and they come down and they start beating up all these, just pretty much destroying them all stuff. But in Korea, when we watched it, they came down, there was like a flash, and then they went straight up, and everybody was like on the ground. So they're kind of perturbed by the whole violence aggression thing.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because obviously there's a lot of other issues, the whole diet fat thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the violence and sexuality thing and which one we see as worse,
Yeah.
America kind of has it backwards. Like
Yeah.
when you, I mean, you know, I know it's a lot more complicated than that, but when you think about like our rating system here, the whole like PG-13 and R and what's acceptable and what's not, like you see a lot more murder and sexual violence and stuff like that
Or it's
getting
like
past
a
the radar,
naked
whereas,
person
like,
isn't gonna do
breasts-
anything.
Yeah,
breasts
like
are
what,
seen as way more scandalous than
Right.
someone shooting another person
Yeah, what
in
is
the head.
something that is just natural and just
Yeah,
happens?
It
it's
is.
just like-
It is, and like I don't know, we're very, very
someone who's
like,
I mean I don't believe in like
conservative
kids
when it comes to like
brainwashed, but like does someone seen a
exposing
gun?
young people to sexuality, which is something that's natural compared to murder, which we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
see
exactly.
as we don't see it as bad as sex, but that's really like we've got it
But
wrong.
if kids do absorb stuff, wouldn't they
Yeah.
absorb a gun shooting someone rather than this person's naked? Not that
Yeah.
I think kids should see naked people, but at the same time it's like I don't
Well,
know.
they're going to be exposed to it eventually, and I
Yeah.
mean it's all about.
or they just look down.
I think it's
and there it is.
right. I think it's right. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like okay.
It's kind of weird. I mean, at the same time, it's not like
But I guess
Yeah.
the message of diet.
Yeah, that's why I said. Well, there's other issues involved.
Yeah,
so what is-
everything. I mean, the whole with the Korean culture, a lot of its agents because why things is the way they are. There's there's entire families that are split up by that conflict,
Mhm.
and they don't want to be reminded of that. They don't want to be reminded that they're in danger.
yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot goes into it. It's a complicated culture.
Yeah, that's true. You have to keep in mind the culture and the country you're in and what they see as acceptable and what they
Yeah.
shy away from.
But they're making huge. I mean, they make huge leaps technologically, and it's just a cool place to be. I mean, I like street food. I like eating out, and that's pretty much what everybody does over there,
Yeah.
except for the very rich. It's kind of weird. Like it's almost here.
Once again, it's the
People
opposite.
kind of eat out when they aren't really well off, and
Yeah.
then they, right? Yeah. A cool thing to do if you ever travel is try to like rate the McDonald's. Japanese and Korean McDonald's are just fantastic.
They sound amazing from what I've heard.
So there was a special they had once. It was like an avocado burger. It was pretty much like an entire avocado.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's more expensive, but they treat it as a restaurant.
Yeah.
There's no real such thing as like fast, not in the way that we call it fast food. It's not gritty and dirty and there's some places like that, but those big names McDonald's are. They're really, Korean McDonald's, I think, is the best one that I've had, and they deliver. And I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool to see just what they have over here compared to what we have.
And he does not eat McDonald's or any fast food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But in Japan, I did though, because the quality of food was great.
Doesn't Japan have like a squid ink burger or something?
Oh yeah, so during Halloween they have the squid ink burger
That's-
with squid ink bun. So it's
like
an
just
all
all black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. It just kind of tastes kind of squiddy, but it's pretty good. They have a croquet burger. I don't know if anybody knows. It's like a fried shrimp patty. That's pretty good. Their fries are good. I don't know. I can go on food in Japan.
That seems
for a
like
while.
something that would be really fun to do. Like you said, if you're a world traveler, like
Yeah.
compare the McDonald's around the world,
Yeah.
because like the only different McDonald's experience I have is flying into Maine, and the McDonald's in the Maine airport had lobster everything. They actually had something on the menu called a McLobster. I was like, I want a
That's
McLobster
pretty
back
cool.
home, but like yeah, regional menus are something that's really fascinating to me.
Let's take some questions. I'm sure
Oh,
there. Have
okay.
you found any?
Well, I got one for Alex. Was they want to know if you've ever been to Europe.
Oh, I have never been to Europe. I guess that's the end of that.
that's that.
That's that.
Excellent
Um,
question.
Yeah.
We've
Got a few on Twitter that are more
Yeah, I mean, we can.
Steam Powered Giraffe
Yeah,
related.
Whatever.
Yeah.
you got.
Let me see. Okay.
Well, Alex can answer Steam Powered Giraffe.
Oh yeah,
Question.
yeah.
Sure, I'll answer to the
Okay.
best of my ability, I guess.
I'll start with the ones that aren't really Steam Powered Giraffe related. So this one's for the group, I guess.
Lunch
Wait.
machine.
Okay, lunch machine first.
Okay.
Okay, let's do the lunch machine one.
You know the question.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Someone knows it.
So, and the backstory, if you don't know it, is someone asked us if we had a time machine that could bring anyone from the past, any historical figure, or I guess anyone, to the present, and you could have lunch with them, who would you want to have lunch with? And David and Bunny were really tired, and they misheard the question, and they thought it was like a machine that created lunch. I don't know.
No, it wasn't. We knew exactly. We were just trying to. We were like, okay, so what happens when you're done with lunch? If you draw out the lunch, can they be there for until those eggs go rotten? Then they start fading away.
So the podcast fans have really like taken to this lunch machine thing a lot, and they always want to know what the guest's answer would be. And it's basically, who would you want to have lunch with if you had access to a time machine?
I don't even care about the answer.
Access to a lunch machine that would give you lunch with this famous person. But only until you complete the meal.
So yeah, so I mean,
and you're in and you're in the machine. It's pretty big. It's about the size of half of this living room.
I feel like most of the conflict was you guys getting caught up in what the machine actually
That's
did.
the interesting part.
Yeah,
not the answer.
The actual
no
answer.
No one gives a crap about the answer.
This has happened before too in other questions I've asked, where it's like, oh, this is a good question. This would be fun to answer, but then like everyone just gets so caught up in the logistics of it that they don't answer
not answering the question.
Yeah, I mean,
the answer is arbitrary.
Yeah, because I could ponder like, how is this going to work? And
right.
That's what's way more interesting. No one cares about your answer, but answer it anyways.
I like the idea that it doesn't take place in a machine, that it actually transports you
to
who's the guy who made Huckleberry Finn?
Yeah.
Mark
Twain.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain made you.
That you're
I
teleported.
made you, Huckleberry. I made you, Huckleberry.
That you're teleported on a steamboat, like having a little lunch with him.
So everywhere you teleport?
So like if you go to something that represented their.
Last week, someone
environment.
asked kind of an inverted lunch machine question. They asked what time period would you find it interesting to get teleported to if someone had a lunch machine and they were if they were beckoning you?
If they're beckoning you.
Yeah. And like I was trying to explain this question to David.
But that's why
he was just like getting so upset about
what happens to you? Do you
so if you're
phase out of existence for that time?
If you're a victim of lunch machine,
yeah, exactly.
What does that have?
It doesn't have to be someone who's dead.
I tried to answer the question. I was like, I think it'd be really cool to talk to someone from ancient Egypt if they summoned me. But then David was like, how would someone in ancient Egypt have access to a time machine?
That's why last week's title was Time Machines Didn't Exist in the Past.
And I was like trying to defend the question.
Do you have
I don't know.
Do you have an answer for the lunch machine?
So the simple answer, I believe, would be Leonardo da Vinci. If I could talk to him.
Because he made the hook thing for Ezio in Assassin's Creed.
No, well, I mean, because he accomplished a lot during his lifetime, which is admirable. He not only was he an accomplished artist, he was also an inventor of a lot of simple things that we take for granted these days.
He was French, right?
Yes, I believe
Italian.
so.
Italian. That makes sense. That makes way more sense.
There's a lot of anecdotal things. He just accomplished a lot.
So does the lunch machine translate for you?
See, so I was trying to approach this answer.
Yes, I think it
question.
So they talk and then you have to wait for
logistics.
No, I think it's just like
it's
you
magic.
speak Italian.
So this is magic again.
But I mean, I haven't had much time to ponder this.
So
it's magic tech.
That's the one that comes to mind. I mean. Maybe even the great John Browning, but that's a different thing. That's kind of when it comes to weapons and.
What would you eat with Leonardo da Vinci? What would be your lunch?
I don't know what I would eat with. I would attempt to ask him, and then I don't know.
What would an Italian person back in the
I don't know
before the turn of the century?
If I were to host lunch for
spaghetti?
anybody, I would probably cook for them.
It'd probably be bread.
No, the lunch machine creates the meal.
Does it prevent
that is the
does
time?
it prevent me from doing so? I try to.
That's what measures the passage of time, like how long
if you try to bring pots and pans into it, it just
yeah. I spend like an entire evening getting food ready, and then I walk into the barrier of the lunch machine, and it all just dissipates.
And you get a sandwich.
Yeah, it just turns into.
What if it gives them their favorite food?
I mean,
and if you try to
I'd be
eat
okay
it
with that, well, it just turns to ash.
What if you summon yourself from
the future?
God.
I mean, that would be an answer too. Is like I would summon like
5 minutes ago,
like 16-year-old myself, and just tell him like just don't do these things, and then like
and then he would just be traumatized because he was teleported.
Yeah, and then like I would ruin the timeline, and everything would just be crap, and it's like
and he would intentionally not go into lunch machines.
Yeah,
and then he would never summon you.
Yeah.
So technically, it never happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It would just get in a loop like that.
So the minute that you try to summon yourself, you don't.
But I don't know. that's my knee-jerk answer. I haven't really had time to ponder it.
The
but
answer
I
doesn't
never have a
matter.
good
He's
answer.
done-
It's all
Does
about
either.
the
But
how it
he
works.
accomplished a lot. A lot of things that people don't really know about on the minor level. Like he kind of either he's a credit for or he actually did. He kind of came up with the whole just simple mechanics of certain things like wedges and levers and how ball bearings can be used to increase the longevity of spinning devices. Things
I
like
mean,
that.
the ancient Egyptians and stuff had
Yeah.
stuff like that, but he
took
the first one that kind
He
of.
kind of did it. I mean, he went to everything. A lot of people know him for his art and his like practical inventions, but he also made like
Automatons.
war bridges, and he
Yeah,
tried to
war
make
machines.
robots and a lot of war
Ancient
machines.
Greece had a lot of those kind of
Yeah.
music box robots where
Yeah.
insert a coin and
Yeah.
and then this thing will pour you water. that
Yeah,
kind
but
of stuff.
I mean, it's impressive that he accomplished, every time he accomplished something, he just wanted more. That kind of ambition piece. And then not only did he want, a lot of people have ambition, but he actually accomplished a lot too. Like most people who do things in the style he does do like one thing, and that's pretty much their life accomplishment. But he just kept on going and going. And I don't know, that just kind of comes to mind. But when it comes to Lunch Machine, I'm intrigued on how.
I wonder if you bring him the concept of the lunch machine, he turns out to be the one that invented it. So
yeah,
it's like
part of his own
no
script.
fate but what you make. It's just, it has no origin.
So we're saying that someone from
Leonardo
ancient,
da Vinci.
ancient Egypt can't summon you.
Well, maybe.
because-
Well, what if Da Vinci was the reason he did all this because he had a lunch machine and he just stole the ideas from all these people, and that's how he. See, we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out.
But how can ancient Egyptians summon you? Because their lunch machine would have to be made out of like stone and runes.
They just
or
ask.
something.
They just ask Horus.
Theirs would have to be
They
magic.
just ask Horus and Anubis
Well,
or
maybe
whatever.
they're not. Maybe they acquired it, but
maybe
they
when
didn't
when
create
someone
it.
visits the ancient Egypt, the lunch machine gets left behind.
Mhm.
So they can
But I
they
thought
can
they're teleported to. If you
Okay,
summon ancient
because-
Egypt.
See, I always
A
thought
time
you were
machine
teleported.
that only exists in the future and cannot exist in ancient times isn't much of a time machine.
But it can exist up when it was created and when it was first turned on. Then it can go back to that time.
I mean, it could be like a wormhole.
Maybe.
Maybe the device doesn't have to move, but it just sends the person there for an amount. I don't know.
We're definitely going to talk about this more, but let's have another
Okay.
another podcast for the rest of them all time.
Okay. Would you rather have 2 days without arms or 2 days without legs?
No. No one would wish that on themselves.
And how do they come back? Where did they go? What did this? A
The
wizard?
lunch machine. They
I
only
do,
wanted your
um,
torso. They didn't want.
I'd go 2 days
anything else.
without legs. I just play video games for 2 days.
I mean, that
I
seems
think
like
that seems the most. I mean,
I can still move around with
What?
arms.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
it seems. If
They
so I
have-
was confined to my house and then I knew they would grow back
I mean,
in a day.
some people spend
2
like
days.
decades
Is it
without
painful
legs.
when they grow
so-
back?
I was gonna say, do you see them growing back?
Oh my
Two little
boy.
legs.
Wheelchairs do
I guess-
exist.
Or do
Yeah.
they fade in? They fade into existence.
I don't
But only-
tend
but
to
by the
think about
bone
the
first.
logistics of the
And they fade
questions.
in by the bone.
I'm just like, okay, if
So
I didn't
for a
have
few hours,
arms,
you're seeing
okay.
just the nerves and the bones.
And do you feel that? Is it painful? Because then I guess you'd spend like the
And can
next
you
2 days in
touch it?
agony.
I think it's kind of inconsequential because either way you have to experience the same thing, just in a different spot of your body.
I imagine it's like there's like a transparent like you can a see-through thing like it's still you feel your
Like-
legs but you still have to see
Is this
them.
like a prank? Does somebody like go by your house? It's like, you don't have legs now, and they just won't run away. And you're just like, no.
Asshole
It's a
wizard.
lunch machine. You somehow got caught. The lunch
Oh
machine
my
didn't cut off your legs
God.
somehow, and
I just ran out of
It's gonna take
battery.
some time for them to catch up with
Yes,
you.
a phase back.
You hear your doorbell go off and your legs. Are there.
I think most people would say arms because, like for me, like I could still use computer, I could still use gamepad, I could still
If I
play
didn't have
guitar,
arms, I could still
sing.
hike.
But if I didn't have, I mean, that's not true. I've seen people play guitar with their feet and stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think it'd be the easier life would be
Having arms.
the easier life for these 2 days would be having arms.
For 2 days.
Do we get a cash prize at the end of this?
Is there some consequence for doing this?
I think you just get your
Do we get a
your
do we get
limbs
a,
back.
a
and
red
that's the
a red
prize.
envelope from our elders
Yeah.
filled with
Oh.
cash
Yeah.
for moon
Moon day.
moon day?
Okay.
Do we?
Yeah.
This is a question.
What? I don't
I'm just
know.
We're not the ones cursed.
I mean, I would say arms too because like it's like my craft is so
Yeah.
hands-on and like I'd have to.
I'm.
I could still go on stage
Relearn
in a
everything.
wheelchair. You know?
Yeah, everybody. You guys could just like be marionetted. That'd be cool.
Would anyone care? Or just put not even a wheelchair. If that's too uncomfortable for people, just put me in a chair.
I'm just saying it would be really. It would be. I mean, it would be impressive if everybody just didn't have legs and was still doing what you guys
Yeah.
did.
I mean,
It'd
it's
be
not
cool.
it's not unheard of. We could probably still do it if
yeah, this is still
one
the
of us
This is the head.
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Just
we
don't-
we could figure it out.
I mean, technically, you can still do it without arms. You just need someone.
I don't
want
want to think about it because it's giving me anxiety. But
yes, we take for granted everything in our lives that we think is fine until it isn't. That's just human nature, I think.
Are you excited about Saurian? And I have no idea what that is.
I don't know
think
what
it's
that
a
is.
game.
No idea what that
Don't
is.
know what it is.
Saurian?
I also don't know what it is.
I also do not know what it
Someone
is.
tell us what Saurian is.
I think that's a no. I think.
No one here
Yeah.
knows, and we can't Google it because we're pressed for time.
Yeah. If Trump continues to make America not
Let's skip
so
that question.
Yep, next.
no,
Next question.
it's where would you want to live if not the United States?
I would like to live in the United States.
They prefaced it with a comment about Trump, but that's not the point of the question.
I mean,
Where would you live if not the United States? I mean, I haven't been.
Oh, yeah, I haven't
many
lived
places.
anywhere else, so it'd be tough to make that decision.
I'm just gonna keep on saying that no matter what happens, I believe the United States is the greatest country to live in, especially to be a citizen of. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
You have a bigger insight than
Yeah.
say us that have. Well, I mean, we've
I
visited.
think that question might have been for you because you've lived other
Yeah.
places.
Yeah. Well, again, there's a background to that. I'm a first-generation American, so I was the first person in my immediate family to be born here. My parents were refugees from the Vietnam War, and just they built a life here for me, so on and so forth. And again, this country is great because if I didn't like California or Arizona or wherever I live, I could just go somewhere else and still be
Yeah.
within the confines of this country.
Yeah.
There's some countries out there where the entire thing is just kind of this one place, and if you can't, I mean, it's not necessarily true, but the amount of variety and freedoms that we have here, I believe.
Right. I mean, we've got 50 states, and
50
they're
states.
all kind of. Some of them are like their own country.
I mean, if you're racist, there's states for you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If you're not racist,
you
there's
can-
states. No, I don't
Yeah, there's opportunity everywhere. It's not. I mean, these are all opinions,
Yeah.
of
yeah,
course. but
if I had to leave the country, I'd probably go somewhere in Europe, like the UK or something, because it would be more familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
But-
more, something like that.
But I mean, I just hopefully wait it out.
I mean, I suppose to satisfy
Yeah.
the question, I would not mind living in South Korea.
Mm,
I just don't want to be around when the next fun thing happens over there.
right.
Yeah, because there's lots of things that happen out there that aren't in the news. So
Yeah.
it's a lot
No,
different out there.
I'd agree. You know, it's important to be aware of what's going on, and take a stance if you think there's something wrong in the country. But like I wouldn't want to live anywhere
Yeah.
else.
I mean, so here, so we have a lot of people, not to get into it, but a lot of people who are standing up for their beliefs and stuff that people in other countries get murdered for that.
Yeah.
And some people, so Thailand, literally, like a year ago, they have like coups every like 2 years. Their military exiled their prime minister and their entire family and took over the country, established martial law, and the country's being run by the military for a while. That doesn't happen over here.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, there's the politicians have their own pretty much military units, armies, because the way that you get elected over there is you just survive your assassinations.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's just things like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, and then in Japan's going through multiple crises right now: population crisis, work ethic crisis. They've always had the whole suicide thing going for them,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
resource crisis and all that stuff. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and these are just places that I've been. I mean, Britain is ruining the world economy right now. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on, and
Yeah, I read an article that I mean, I know Japan has always had the issue with the work ethic and
Mhm.
suicide thing, but a lot of young Japanese college students are in like massive debt. They kind of, I don't know if they rival American college debt, but it's just a lot of people like to say like, oh, America, they have this idea in their head that America is the only country that doesn't have like free college education, but that's not really
Yeah.
true. I've heard that they have a big problem with that as well,
they do.
and putting a lot of stress on college students there.
Yeah, in Japan, it works a lot differently than over here.
Yeah.
High school isn't a guarantee. High
Yeah.
school is private, so you'd go through and then you have to learn Japanese, which is a whole different thing. So by second grade, you have to know like 200 characters by second grade. So you go through primary school. So you go through grades 1 through 6. 1 through 8. So primary school and secondary school, and then you have to test to go to high school. If you don't make it to high school, you start going to trade school and you enter the workforce immediately.
Wow.
If you go to high school, you have to pay for it, like pretty much like a college, and then you go to college, you go from there. And so it's just every step of the way is a lot harder for them, so
Mhm.
on and so forth, I guess, compared to here. And culturally, the firstborn has all the weight on their shoulders, and that is the highest statistics of suicides. There's actually on like finals day, they usually send messages out to parents that trains may be late today. It's finals day. There will be many students, delaying the trains because they're in front of them or whatever. So it's just it's just how culture is. But I guess. But back to the question, I guess South Korea would be my answer because I could eat out and play video games and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It just. I mean, just keep it. And I know people who've tried that route to move somewhere else. Just know that right now, if you leave the United States, officially, you will have to pay United States taxes for 7 more years. So just think about that number. Or think about the amount of number that certain politicians will be in office. So you might as well wait it out. That's just my advice because you don't want to end up paying that money for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one we could all answer. Ducky Bubbles on Twitter says, we all know David hates mint, but what sweets does everyone like? What's your favorite sweets?
Do I not get to answer because I hate mint?
I don't know why it started
I don't know what
with
mints
that.
have to do. I don't know.
Chocolate.
You
I
only,
like chocolate.
you only can like
Not
like
chocolate.
or hate
That's
one
it.
thing. That's
You don't get any
But
more.
not chocolate mint.
you chose to hate. So,
So if I hate mint, does it vanish out of existence?
Yeah,
or-
I don't know why.
What are the rules of this?
then you can't use the
You-
lunch
I
machine
don't know
because there's
why
always
you
an
hating
after
mint
lunch mint.
has
What-
anything to do with that.
What are the rules
But
of this
what are
sweet machine?
You know, what are you, Bunny? What do you like? Sweets.
Gosh,
That's the title, sweet machine.
You like
I
the
mean-
Honeycrisp stuff from Britain?
yeah, I really like
Chocolate.
violet crumble.
Violet crumble.
Right,
Yeah.
like-
I like what's the stuff that you crack with the dessert? Creme brulee.
Creme brulee. Creme
It's
brulee is
really
pretty
good.
good.
Magic shell.
Magic Shell's pretty
I
good.
mean, Magic Shell's pretty good
It
too.
is pretty good.
I would say Violet Crumble is my favorite candy bar. So if fans want to send that, I'm not opposed. It's hard
I-
to get out here.
Yeah,
It's an Australian candy
I like
bar.
I like a lot. Like there's not much that I won't eat. I'm not a huge fan of like sour gummy things like Sour Patch Kids and stuff. Occasionally I'll get a craving for it, but like on average that's kind of like that's my least favorite thing, but I like everything else. Chocolate and peanut butter,
Chocolate peanut butter. That's
ice cream.
that's what I like. Dark chocolate. I like milk chocolate too.
Milk chocolate's good.
Mhm.
Chocolate all the time.
Chocolate and peanut butter and chocolate raspberry are like the two best chocolate combinations.
As a
for
kid,
me.
I used to like rainbow sherbet a lot. I don't know why.
I hate
Nice.
rainbow sherbet.
It wasn't really ice cream. It's not ice cream.
It's not ice cream. In the States, Bunny hates it. I like Mounds. 'Cause it's
Bleh.
all
I
candy-
love
candy.
Mounds.
Is that the one that without the nuts?
Without the
or-
nut. Yeah, and it's dark chocolate. It's not milk chocolate. It's dark
But it's
chocolate.
coconut.
It's dark chocolate and coconut
it's like-
substance.
Yeah,
Bleh.
Why
coconut's like
can't we
meh.
have the best of both worlds? Because I like the almond and almond joy, but I prefer dark chocolate of
yeah.
Mounds.
So yeah, I like that.
Why don't they make a dark chocolate mounds?
No, Mounds.
No,
is
I mean a dark chocolate almond joy.
I don't know. They don't.
But overseas, it's either going to be Coolish, which is this really cool thing where they in Japan where they have it's like soft serve, but in a bag.
Oh,
So what happens is it's when it's frozen, it's like perfect. You get it, it's frozen, and over time it melts. Like you hold on to it, it melts, and then you puncture the top, and you just kind of sip out of it.
oh my God! Why don't we?
And
have
it comes
that?
in. It comes in. The normal flavors are chocolate, or the normal flavor is vanilla, which is really good. But the special flavors are like chocolate and caramel and stuff. And it's like 100 yen. It's like self-contained soft serve.
Yum.
It's really good. I mean, the candy over in Japan in Korea is amazing too. But that's a whole different thing. But yeah, that's my favorite sweet from there. But here, it'd be Mounds.
You also like those little chocolate balls with the people usually get them around the holidays.
What Ferrero Rocher or
I don't know what they're
I
called.
don't know what
They're like usually come in a
hazelnut?
red
The hazelnut ones?
what?
metallic
Those are good.
wrapper.
Oh,
Didn't you say you like those?
I'm not sure. But maybe
Pretty sure.
Are you sure they weren't
when we were
gold?
asking, I was asking this question like when we first met, like, what's your favorite candy?
Oh, it came out. No, well, that was when we first met, and I just couldn't really find an answer, so I just threw out like something because
Oh, okay,
was
I
just-
see.
yeah.
These are the questions that
Yeah.
are make or break a friendship.
Wasabi Kit Kats are pretty good. They're really hard to find.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole
Sounds
bunch
horrible.
It's different.
Maybe they have them in like what's Zion Marketplace?
Maybe.
or one of
I
those.
don't know.
Zion, like in the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's what it is. No.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know.
How about one more question and then we'll call it because I think we're at 2 hours now.
Okay. The rest are Steam Powered Giraffe related. So would you want to answer something about lore?
Okay, 2
What?
questions then.
Sure.
Well, okay. What was the Uncle Ralphie's Sideshow Spectacular for, and who's Uncle Ralphie?
So we did a show a while back, a real long while back. It was just themed because we used to every one of our shows had a light theme to it, some more than others. And this one,
Oh.
we were paired with a circus troupe with some circus entertainers we were friends with, and we wanted to do like a pre-show because we were going to do a larger show the following year or something. So we just wanted to kind of get an idea what we could do. So it was kind of like a variety show, and we just had a bunch of acts that preceded us. And David and I themed it after kind of a sideshow spectacular. So we created this guy. I don't know where if I think his origins predated that inception. I think it went back to this idea that I had for a children's cartoon or a children's show. So he was one of the characters that we would interact with. So we kind of liked him and we wanted to use him. So David portrayed him, and he wrote like a melody for him. So he kind of became.
Yeah, I think that song. We did a song just for that show, but we put it on this SPG DVD.
Yeah, and then you used some of the melody in a recent song, I think. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember doing that.
But yeah, it's he's kind of come back here and there, but now he's kind of officially in the lore, but we haven't really.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I've
anything.
heard that name, like he's referred to in a few songs, but other than that, like I guess he's kind of mysterious.
All we know about is that he's white skinned, he has blue facial hair, so I don't want to say much because I'm sure his story will come out somewhere.
I know he has an eyeball that blinks on his hat.
Yeah, he's kind of like a.
So maybe the hat's alive.
He's kind of like a Pee Wee Herman type character, but even more magical.
Like magical as in, doesn't his suit go into his gloves?
Yeah.
So maybe he can't take his clothes off?
I think the idea
that he is naked?
That's one of the drawings we had of him did that, but I think he's kind of the guy that he can have any costume he wants. It's always going to be orange and blue striped.
That's
like
Beetlejuice or something.
like pretty much. Like if he's in a jumpsuit, it'll be in the same color.
I guess I kind of gravitate towards the questions about things that I don't know either. I'm like, I don't know anything about.
I don't know.
Uncle
Beetlejuice
Ralphie.
didn't actually have that.
It's canon that he's also a homosexual with Taggart Babcock, the owner of the Dandy Candy Corporation. So he's probably an immortal because
he's like a make believe, and he was a make believe friend.
I mean, if you want to know what it is, I didn't want to say anything, but he's an imaginary friend and a clown that had a child. He's the offspring of that. So he's
So a person with clown makeup on.
no,
an actual clown.
An actual
a real
clown
clown
from
okay.
Kazooland.
Okay. Clowns are a race or a species?
Yes. I mean, I prefer the term species, but
species.
I don't know why in video games it's always like race. It's like, what is... So the werewolf race is not a lizard race? Like, it's a species, isn't it? Like, they're not offshoots of humans.
Yeah, the werewolves are offshoots of the lizard people.
Well, I mean...
maybe there's a technical term for it.
Well, in this universe, it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all you need to know about Uncle Ralphie for now. That's everything.
Yeah, I guess we can wrap up.
The Engineer-eteers have access to that song, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
There-
I think some of his
download it.
concept
You can
art, too, of
download
him.
Yeah, it's all. Search Uncle Ralphie on the Engineer-eteer site. You'll
His
see
hat
it.
isn't unlockable in the giraffe game on our website, too.
Yes, it's the hat that has an eyeball on it. Top hat with eyeball.
I have one more question here that this just caught my eye because I have no idea what they're talking about. Maybe you do. Zybel Danny asks, I'd love to hear more about the porta-jorts.
Oh, the
Porta-jorts? I have no idea what that is, but it sounded funny.
Oh, yeah.
All that was a laptop with an audio interface, and we hooked up a microphone to it. And it was literally just I think a suitcase. And that's all it was. It was just a way that we could record stuff on outside.
Okay.
And that's all it was. It was literally a laptop hooked up to an audio interface.
It was
So I
simpler
guess
times
people
back then.
think porta-jorts is something more.
No, it was just something that Mike named it to
We
be
just
funny.
spent a lot of time on it. I think at the time we were working on the album and stuff. So while some of us were mixing, some of us were working on that.
Yeah.
It was just like a fun project that we.
But yeah,
customized.
I mean, even back then, like this. I mean, it made sense, I guess, a little bit. But at the same time, it's like there's so many easier ways to go and record audio outside than bring a laptop and an audio interface.
It was just the way that Mike wanted to do it, because at the time he was like kind of doing most of that kind of work.
Yeah.
So I think that was he just wanted a system that he could have on the spot and stuff. Whatever, it worked and it did its job.
And then we had like a battery backup to power it when we didn't have any outlets. It was weird. It was.
Well, there you go. That's what porta-jorts is all about.
That's all it was. Just the name Mike came up with for this suitcase recording thing, which is literally just a laptop and a thing. I mean, that's all it is. And
I think it had like snacks inside of it too.
I mean,
Well,
they made it artsy for themselves.
jorts.
Right?
I was thinking like jean shorts. I thought they were talking about like a clothing item.
I mean,
so.
that too. That's another thing they made. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, this was
That's good.
this was an episode.
Yeah.
You want to get my guitar?
Oh yeah.
I mean, since you.
Maybe we'll have you back, Alex. You have many stories. I mean, I guess if you want to, not to put you on the spot.
They'll see. I suppose.
No, it was nice to talk about stuff that we don't usually talk about. Video games, obviously.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. But. Okay. It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. We talked about video games. Alex told us about the world on the Bennettarium. It was the Bennettarium, and now it's over.
See you guys.
Bye-bye. Well, now we have to actually
No,
turn
well, I
the
can't
stream
just-
on.
I-
Oh, yeah.
First
that
of all, you gotta
Do you usually
raise
cut this stuff out after? I don't know.
I don't have time for that. People-
They enjoy listening.
Okay, I'm gonna take
to
this
it,
off,
right?
and then you guys
Yeah.
can continue talking.
It's supposed to be casual, so they hear all the crap in between the polished parts. If any of this is polished.
I'm really
It's-
digging the audio quality. Even I can tell in the ears it's much better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.